hilarious. Like so many fucking people engaged with that, and like this random guy, he fucking like he replied to me like, "Oh, would you say it's good? Even if it wasn't." I'm like, yeah, why the fuck would I lie? And like he thought I was like some MCU show, like who just hides his own opinions because it's like, oh, it's a Marvel film, but it's like, no, Eternals is just actually good. Also, hello, we're live, by the way. I forgot to say. Hey.
Hello.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see Eternals now because you've like multiple people are now saying it's good. I'm like,
Yeah,
what's
Bootleg said
happening?
it's good. TC said it's good. Thought is in the middle of watching it right now, and he's been messaging me, and he thinks it's good so far, which is great. Loves the characters, and I think he said he loves especially Sprite, which is a good choice because she's super charismatic as a character. Though I think my favorite character is Joig, but it's simply because I have a bias because I love that actor. Though he's a fantastic character, but you know. I'd say the character that gets the least development is the speedster girl, and she's still
The
pretty
deaf
good.
one.
Yes, but I like her. She's still good.
Cool. Of course, it's deaf person that gets the least.
Of course, you guys deserve less. I mean, what? I never said that. Or how would you agree with me on that, Tim? You cannot tell that. Well, it's official, Marcus. I'm watching Eternal tomorrow. You better not be wasting my time. I'm not Madvocate. I swear it's good. Okay. I do find it hilarious how nobody took me seriously. Like, I tweeted that I was watching. I came out of the theater with my friend, right? And I was like, let me tweet it. Let's see people's reactions. And then, like, literally after 30 seconds, I had 1 reply, 7 quote tweets, and 1 like. And it's just, dude, so many people were shit, is this stream unlisted? It is unlisted. I forgot to click on public. Hold on, I'm retarded. Never mind me.
Yay!
Fuck's sake.
Where the fuck do I change that? Hold on, I'm being retarded. There we are. I usually do this right after. I'm dumb, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, Eternal's good. And nobody believed me, but as people are starting to watch the film, they've coming to realize that Eternals is actually really good. With some fantastic characters, and the world building is like it's not anything special, but it does really work well with what the film's going for, and it makes for an interesting backstory for the characters. And I'm not gonna lie, every criticism I've seen so far is pretty bullshit. So you know, I'm glad that the film holds up. So,
Literally, it's been the least interested film I've had for the MCU, and if it's the one that ends up being in the top, I don't know, 5, I guess.
I mean,
I'm gonna kill
it'd be
myself.
like top 4, right? Because there are 3 other good films other than this. I mean, other than like the like average ones, like 6 out of 10, like Doctor Strange or Iron Man. Like this film is like top tier, so you know.
Yeah, Guardians films and
Yeah, it'd be Guardians
Avengers.
choose the best, and then like for the number 2 spot, it's either Eternals, Guardians 1, or Avengers 2012. They're pretty much on par. So, which is pretty impressive. I did not expect this film to actually work. What?
I was expecting it to be so dull.
Oh, everyone was, and it's like everything about the marketing and everything was so dull, but like the film actually is pretty great, and I think the marketing is really terrible for like a huge portion of it. Um, and like Chloe Zhao talking about the sex scene, it's like, why would you talk about that? That's like 15 seconds of the film that literally doesn't matter at all for the film because everything that needed to be established regarding the characters' relationships had already been established before, so that's useless. So instead, you should have talked about how the characters are explored and how the film deals with what humanity is and what humanity means, and how the film is kind of a love letter to humanity, which I think is pretty interesting. So, you know, what would you give the film? 8 or 9 out of 10 from a first viewing. I don't think it would drop lower than an 8 though. It is.
What the fuck am I
What the
reading?
fuck?
What should I call it? What's the name? Fucking what's the name? Account. That's the word.
Okay.
That's the word I want to use. It accounts for a lot of the things you would expect to like be issues. So, for example, in the third act, something happens. It's like, wait, they literally established in the second act that this is not how it would work. And then right after it happens, like after the conflict is resolved, they're like, huh, I was wondering how that would work, and they explain how it works. And it's like, oh, that's neat. I'm glad the film accounts for this being potentially an issue, and it's just not an issue anymore. It's pretty awesome.
I'm just. Apparently, there might be a Fantasy 4 game. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
What?
Wait,
I
what?
know.
What?
So, Amy Hennig had a chat with Kevin Smith. Amy Hennig did Uncharted stuff. And.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, Mark Bernardin reveals he's a writer on Amy Hennig's new Marvel game. And then Kevin Smith says chat gets the game immediately. And apparently the first guesses were Ant-Man and Fantastic Four. So.
Oh, interesting. Oh, an Ant-Man game would actually be pretty neat. But ooh.
Yeah, just as long as they don't create black holes and destroy the whole planet.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't
Yeah.
say that you change the distance between atoms, it should be.
Amy Hennig. Is she gone independent? Yeah, she's.
Yeah, she
So-
quit from Naughty Dog a few years ago, I think, maybe not long before Uncharted 4 came out.
Yeah, which means she's either working with another studio, or whatever. I don't know, but apparently that's happening. So
Interesting. Keep an eye out for that then. Oh yeah, Madvocate, since you're in chat, Eternals has a great speedster who actually acts smart throughout the entire film. Every scene she's in, she's just really smart. So, if you if you want to make a video on Eternals, make it about that, because keep it consistent with the brand. Like that what's her Red Flash or whatever it's called from Invincible that he made a video on.
alright.
Red Dash or something like that. Yeah, it's,
Oh, fuck, I can't remember his
yeah,
name.
it's a character that shows up in like the first 5 minutes and then is killed by fucking Omni-Man by the end of the episode. But yeah, Eternals is great. I think everyone should watch it.
So much for me swearing off the MCU.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
But the thing is, you'd think that would be the perfect moment, right? To just give up on the MCU, and then Eternals is like, no, come back.
Like, I was perfectly happy with just top of Doctor Who from now on here, but now we've actually got a good MCU film. How the fuck is this possible?
It is pretty. Yeah, it was super unexpected. She just I was watching the film and I was just going through watching it with my friend. I'm like, dude, this is actually good, and I was fucking impressed. And my friend is a huge MCU show, and even he was fucking impressed by how good the film was. He's like, oh shit, this is way better than I expected. I don't get it.
How the hell does the MCU manage to actually pull up from what's essentially a fucking plane crash?
Yeah, I mean, it's been ever since Infinity War, it's just worse and worse and worse, and it's like you're actually, you're not actually terrible right now.
Like,
oh
we
yeah,
we haven't gone
sorry,
we haven't gone AR-10 for years, for 5 years at least, for fuck's sake.
I mean, yeah, Guardians show was the last.
At
great
least
one.
5 years. Are you retarded?
Just 4 years, yeah. But
I'm trying to I'm over exaggerating for the sake of comedy, Jen. Please keep up.
Well, it was a terrible joke, and I want you to die. So,
Should I be a fucking potato?
what was
Pew.
Marcus gonna say? He was gonna say something.
Yeah.
oh, what I was
sorry.
gonna say is that I also watched Dune.
Ridiculous.
Oh shit, hold on. Dominic just donated saying a good new MCU movie. Tin said something. Is it Opposite Day or something? Seems like it, doesn't it? But yeah, I'm as shocked as everyone is. But yeah, I was gonna say is I watched Dune and it's great. It's really, really great, and I think everyone should watch it. It's fantastic film.
Yeah, I now need to watch Dune. Last Night in Soho, Internals.
Hasn't Last Night in Soho already come out in the UK?
Let me check. I haven't seen it really, anywhere, but might have.
Yeah, because in Brazil it's only coming out in 13 days, I think.
Yes, it's been out for about a week now.
So you
Completely missed
haven't
that.
you
Nice.
haven't watched it yet because you're fucking cringe. Has
Oh,
French
no.
Dispatch already come out in the UK?
What film?
French Dispatch, the Wes Anderson one.
Dispatch. Let me check. Film. Do.
They're gonna check out the Rotten Tomatoes reviews after watching it. Curious what the critics had a problem with. They say most of the dialogue is either retellings of the same event, or just exposition dumps, which is just not understanding at all that these conversations are to establish and develop characters, and it does so really well, especially with the time given, considering how many characters there are. So, yeah, the fucking critics for Eternals aren't the brightest. I'll say that.
The French Dispatch hasn't been out in the UK, but it did have a film festival screening in London.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, that's also coming out in like 13 days, the same day as Last Night in Soho in Brazil, and I'm just waiting. Loved French Dispatch, which is to be expected considering he's a huge Wes Anderson fan, but you know. But yeah, so with that, is there anything we want to talk about before we get into the Batman?
What else has happened in media? Oh, someone died at Indiana Jones. I guess that's something.
Oh,
Well, yeah, someone was
just a
found
casual
dead in
death.
someone was found dead in their hotel room, and people were tying it to like trying to sensationalize it to be more like
Alec
tie it with
Baldwin.
the Alec Baldwin shit, with the Rust film, which I think is really disingenuous and a really bad faith way to just get clicks, but you know, whatever. Who cares?
I wonder if we'll come across someone disingenuous later this stream.
What? No. Foreshadowing.
Could
Foreshadowing.
possibly be. We never find anyone disingenuous in our lot.
No.
Ridiculous.
We have better setups than Chibnall in Doctor Who, I'll say that.
Yo, and that's a NMD talk there. We're not having that.
Dominic donated saying if Eternals was good, maybe No Way Home would be good, right? Right? No, I'm sorry.
No,
It's a
no,
John
it-
Watts film. It's gonna have the multiverse, and it's already assassinated Doctor Strange and Peter from the trailer. You know, there's a chance it'll be good, but you know, it's not.
Yeah. In the no point chances.
Yeah.
We can hope, but
Yeah,
sadly.
Yeah, we can hope, but no way hope.
All I want is for Andrew's Spider-Man to not be assassinated. Other than that, I don't care.
All I want is the
Mm.
Tazza 2 theme. They could have raped everyone in the film. I don't care. Tazza 2 theme.
Yes, please. Please, just keep the music consistent at least. Like, that's all I want.
I want to, dude, imagining like on opening day hearing the fucking guitar riff from the Taz and Chew theme. That'd be so cool. I'm probably
Johnny
gonna
Marr
watch
at it again.
I'm probably gonna watch it at like on a pre-release or something like that. It's like it comes out on the 16th, like the 15th. There are screenings at like 8 p.m. Because my friend was like, "Do you want to do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
I'd be down to do that for a midnight premiere.
Yeah, it's just because it's like it's a film I'm gonna watch anyway, and I may as well enjoy it the first time, regardless of how good it is. Kind of like Endgame, I guess, but I'm going with way lower expectations than I went in for Endgame. The chance of it being good is the chance of me being struck by lightning tomorrow. You know, there is a chance, so better than nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I know. Always good to never just like outright dismiss these, but you know. I sent a watch together link if you guys would like to join. Is that it? Everything before the Batman trailer we talk about? I'm gonna assume from the silence that it means yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
So-
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the Batman trailer came out a couple weeks ago. We're supposed to cover it last stream, but we didn't because of lack of time. We ended up talking about Doctor Who way too much. Last stream was ECUM 27. ECUM 28 was a debate with SK and Madcap. If you guys haven't watched that, was an interesting debate. But yeah, so the Batman trailer came out, and I think we all agree it's pretty great, right? I think it's
Yeah.
like an establishing tone and the story and all. It's different plot points. It seems to be pretty do it pretty concisely in a way where it's like, yeah, I completely understand how that could happen. How like why it is the way it is, and how it works in terms of pacing. Just trying to balance all these things together, and it gives me some very very high hopes for this film. Because the Batman is something we're pretty excited for, considering casting and everything we've heard regarding the film, and Matt Reeves directing, who is a fantastic director. And so today we're gonna do something a little bit different, or we're gonna fucking hold on. I just showed the fucking. Wait, why is it the wrong one? Oh, that's cringe. Shit, that's not great. You see, I'm always prepared, except when I'm not. So you guys just hang on for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do this time?
So I kind of just like showed the the watch together link on stream, which I don't think people will try to join, but that's a thing I did, which I shouldn't have done. And for some
Well-
reason I didn't have the screen prepared for the watch together, which is weird because I usually just click on the thing and it's ready, but whatever. Anyway, it's here. I definitely didn't shatter anyone's illusion here. It's super perfect now. So anyway, the Batman trailer. What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk a little bit about it and break down why it's so great. Because we've heard some really weird types of criticisms against it, and they're like, no, it's a great trailer. And I think some people are being way too negative just for the sake of being kind of skeptical about everything. Oh, I don't want to assume motive, but that is what it seems like anyway. And yeah, is everyone in the watch together? Seems like it. Yeah, we have Rip Doctor Who, Sontar Bet, and Zod. So yeah. All right. Madwick said I can believe Southpaw said the Batman is objectively terrible because he doesn't cover his mouth. It looks cool as hell and it's comic accurate. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I know, right? Southpaw is such a cringe lord. I swear to God. I'm also gonna
kill Southpaw.
I'm gonna put the copyright cover on. Yeah. All right. So trailer. I'm gonna also lower the audio because I don't want to get hit by copyright. Trailer starts. Have Riddler there having his coffee, and we see these seem like FBI agents or just policemen going to arrest him. Telling him to place his hands up. Fuck. Touch pause. Okay.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's. It seems it's obviously going to be a deliberate scheme by the Riddler, because he's just sitting there all calm. He knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was just putting the notes on my left monitor. But yeah, he's definitely called the police or whatever for a plan he has, which is interesting. That part of his plan is getting arrested. Hopefully, it's better than Joker's plan in The Dark Knight. And yeah, also as Jab said here, the armed police would indicate that Riddler has already made a significant name for himself in Gotham, which is a good point that I didn't even think about that, Jeb. Well done.
Bam.
And then we see this cool shot of the fucking coffee mug has a question mark on it. Oh fuck, I didn't pause it fast enough. Here. Question mark. Which I just think looks cool.
Plot hole. How do you draw that?
Literally impossible. I have coffee
I
right
think
in front of me right now. I could do the exact same thing.
People took me seriously when I said that, and I'm like, what?
I don't understand how people just unironically take it seriously when they say something like that. It's like obviously a joke, but But yes, moving on with the trailer. We see production companies, and then we see the bat signal being
And
lit
we
up
got
by
Jim Gordon there.
Yeah, him saying fear is a tool. And I mean, I could just read off your notes, or you could just say what are in your notes, Jeb. I don't know what you would prefer.
I'd probably say my notes, because I had a theory of what they're doing. I think they're either going to try and catch a Riddler with this, or investigate Penguin, because they're the main villains being shown in the trailer.
I just stopped to realize this now, but it's a fantastic shot in terms of just like composition of the city,
Yes.
and down there with the lights, and here is all dark except for the the bat signal and the reflection, and the rain, of course, making the light more pronounced. That's a really good shot.
Yeah.
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 When that light hits the sky.
And then we see the bat suit for the first time. It's cool as fuck.
It looks really
Oh.
good. So this is going to be set up for what we're going to discuss later, but you could see that he's got armor plating there, and then his cowl area seems to be quite rubbery,
Mhm.
and he's got Under Armour underneath for his neck below. So
Team should be quite
well
prepared.
protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also has the eyeliner there, which all Batman have. But the one thing that's good is that it doesn't just disappear after he takes off the cowl. Thankfully.
Yes.
It's not just a call.
So with that scene, I had a theory that they haven't done anything but rather go somewhere, because for a brief second you see a woman on her phone and she's calm. So if they're doing crime, she would be panicking. So I think they're going to meet up where they are here in this shot, because that's a train station.
Alrighty. Oh, I like that shot a lot. Okay.
It's a warning.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. So this fight here. Oh yeah. So this shot already shows how the armor is very very protective, since he can just get shot and be okay. Now people are saying because he he was shot, when he was shot he was like stunned for a bit. That means that when he gets shot later on in this trailer, that would mean that he would not be able to just walk that off, just continue walking normally, even though this is a shot that's unexpected. So it's the idea that, well, if he gets shot now, he's gonna feel the impact, whereas as the other points, he's gonna feel the impact, but he's already gonna be preparing his body to stop, just like jumping back.
Also, it's worth noting we have zero context for this moment compared along with the other moment. This could, to do best faith, be him earlier in the film realizing I could protect myself against bullets and working out how.
Yep. Yeah, and he gets better armor as the film goes on, which makes sense since it's supposed to be like adapting year one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which, by the way, good comic. I like that comic. It's neat. All right. Ooh, I like that. He has the stunny things in the back gloves, which is good considering he doesn't want to kill people. He just wants to stun them. Though this is pretty like brutal. You can see he's being very not restrained with how he's attacking people, which I think is going to be part of his arc in the film, to try to hold himself back, but I'm not sure.
I want to add something as well in my notes.
Mhm.
I said this is probably early on as well because the thugs aren't scared. These are street level thugs. As we know with Batman, due to the bat signal, it starts scaring those level thugs. So that's why I think early on, where he's not established much of a name for himself.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I went for the really minor details.
Yeah. We can
Yes.
tell. Is there anything else, or can we move on to continue playing?
Just having a look through what I did theorize for the armor. A few things is the thug behind also looks surprised and not know what to do, which means in this they probably weren't supposed to open fire and it was meant to be a covert operation.
Mm-hmm.
I said there is armor that ricochets off because the bullet ricochets off. This can be still armor, but they touch fragments. However, nowadays you've got carbon nanotubes due to high elasticity. Although this seems to be a hardened material, so I'd say it'd be still plating if ignore fictional material. But I would say all of the armor is still.
That is.
So yeah.
You really were in depth with these notes. Yeah. Jeez.
Just trying to see if I missed anything else. Oh, and also the Batman rides up on a platform with the thugs confused, which either suggests they weren't expecting him to be there, but I don't think the train shot proves that. Instead, I think they thought they beat him.
And right.
So
So that'd be like a
maybe
second part of a fight then. They thought like he was they
yes,
beat him and then he comes back and it's like, oh shit, how he come back? Okay, that's a good
yeah,
point.
no, like what they were like, what the fuck, which would explain why they all huddled together. Yeah.
Alright. Moving on then. We then see interrogation scene. I'm gonna pause just because music is harsher in terms of copyright, but yeah. We see Batman going to talk to what is it, it's the Riddler after he's arrested.
I'm assuming it is the Riddler.
Alright, I'm trying to find out where in your notes we are, but okay.
We're on the beginning of the second
Oh, I
page.
I found out, yeah. And he says, "What have you done?" People are complaining about that line delivery. I don't really understand why, but you know, people were complaining about the line delivery. I think it
To clear-
works. Alright.
To clear it up, based on they released like a minute-long thing.
Mhm.
It seems to be a trailer editing issue, not a film issue. Because the 1 minute long is much clearer.
Well, I think they heard that the complaints, either just ADR on retake, whatever. But I don't know.
Maybe.
It seems maybe it's just audio compression or something like that. But it's like, yeah, you can tell that he says, "What have you done?" and he's upset. And I don't think it's like bad delivery or anything. I don't get. People are really upset about that line delivery and that acting. I'm like, no, that seems to work fine. But you know, whatever. All right. Maybe you always see an explosion.
And Riddler's the match.
Okay, so probably just have to point out there. So I theorized all of this is for the Riddler's trial. I might be wrong, but this is what I think it is, and they're in a courthouse for that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Good work.
And then we see Selena Kyle. Well, people were upset about this casting because they're cringe, but I think it's a great casting for what is it? Zoe Kravitz is her name, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, pretty great. Let's see here. Ooh, that's a fantastic shot.
If this continues, it won't be long before.
Oh, this is Colin Farrell as the Penguin, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Penguin. Yep.
Yeah. Jeff,
And then
whenever
you-
you want to say something, just fucking tell me, alright? It's
and then you got Andy Serkis Alfred. What's a cool detail is as he's saying this, you go for Penguin during the beginning of the line, and then Batman at the end, which indicates there's a parallel between these two with desperation.
lit.
Oh.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
Yeah.
See,
Ah.
It won't be long before I have
Um,
nothing left. Yeah, that's good editing, yeah.
so I also noticed this might actually say Mitchell. At first I thought it said Match. It's Match or Mitchell, but that looks like an I. So this might be related to the mayor's death or something just going on with the mayor. Is it the mayor? Yeah, it's the mayor.
Hold on. Yeah, you
Yeah, I
can't
think
tell
that's
properly, yeah.
I think it's Mitchell. Looking back on it.
Alright. Might be because there's a thingy here covering it, but yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot to break down here. So you got
Upstairs.
Mitchell as a tie to the Riddler. Mitchell is the mayor of Gotham. He just got elected for a third term, then got killed. How Savage relates to everything, no idea. Coulson is Gil Coulson. He's the Gotham DA, and it
Thought
seems
he
he's a
was
corrupt.
the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. What?
And I think in the teaser, like he's the guy who like has like his mouth taped and is like has the two Batman like taped to like his chest. You know, like the phone tied to him in the cathedral in the teaser trailer. I think that's him.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But if I had to put a theory with the No More Lies, I assume he's covering for the top criminals, is spreading like misinformation. Renewal is a lie. not entirely sure. And the sins of his father, I theorised it's either that his father knew about the corruption and didn't do enough, or his company was implicit in some of it, and Riddler blames his father for not noticing or something.
All right, those are a lot of theories.
I
Yep.
know.
All right.
I don't care what happens to me.
Yeah. Then
It's only
you know
getting-
Bruce says, "I don't care what happens to me," which, interesting, isn't it?
I
Also, I just want to
said-
say I love this shot. He looks fucking tired as fuck, all sweaty, and with the eyeliner still. Like, yeah, it looks more raw than you'd see in a Batman film, even if it was like from Nolan.
It's one thing I sort of like about the shots of him when he has the mask off. He looks so fucking beat up and just tired. Like he just sort of like he just feels
Kinda
feels
like-
a lot more.
Kind of like Daredevil in a way.
yes.
Which I love because I love the way Daredevil shows like just human characters getting, well, one human character, but the Matt getting super fucking tired and all his bruises and scars and everything from just fighting it all the time, which you wouldn't know about Tin, but that is the case.
Well, well, like for Batman, where like when he has the suit on, like he's this monument of fear, or at least he's trying to build himself up to that.
Mhm.
And when he takes the suit off, he's just this broken, bruised, tired man. Like it's a really good contrast.
Yeah, and I think Robert Pattinson really great casting to showcase that.
Mm. 'Cause
And
he's very
also-
tired. He's very tired, really, in real life.
Yeah, I'm more just because like if you watch Good Time, that's kind of like you can see that he could play this type of character perfectly. Just this character who's always fucking tired and beat up and trying to, always trying to run away and always like doing all these very difficult tests that require a lot of energy and strength. But he never gets a chance to just sit down and like relax and regain his energy, and that's kind of what I get from just this shot, I guess, which is really cool.
Yeah, and obviously we need to point out the line that he says, this is going to become important later. People, to probably jump the gun, they like to assume that why is Batman so willing to be in the face of danger? This explains it. And people are like, oh, well, that logically doesn't make sense. I'm like, yes, that's kind of the point. It's displaying his mental instability. That's why he's getting called out by Alfred, because
Mhm.
he's not being logical.
Yeah, he's being too desperate, which is why to show, like Jeff was saying, the parallel between the Penguin and Batman, how their desperation is leading them down these similar paths, pretty much.
To use a very good comparison, because I just watched the show today, Coulson, his aim is to kill Ward and nothing will stop him, but he doesn't do the safest course of actions that get him his revenge. He just wants to get there as quick as possible.
Same with Hunter in the beginning of season 3, which is
Exactly.
which puts May's husband, what's his name? The
Andrew.
Andrew, yeah, he puts Andrew in danger by doing that. And it's like, yeah, season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. deals with that a lot, which I like.
And both the characters that try to seek revenge almost die in their ways of getting into it.
Yes.
So
And in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., at least, their revenge comes to bite them in the ass. So if that is
I
something
know.
that happens in the Batman, that would be interesting to see Batman like looking for revenge and just not being happy with the results, which I think would be an interesting arc, which is kind of like what Peter goes through in The Amazing Spider-Man 1, though I think the Batman is going to be a way rawer exploration of it, like way more in depth rather than Peter's arc in The Amazing Spider-Man 1, which is a good arc, but I think it's way too mature for a film like that. I don't know. Point being, I'm excited for Bruce's arc.
same here,
Absolutely.
It's only gonna get worse
because
from
this is to give us the most to work with. That's not an appealing frame of Selena. But, yeah.
Every frame of Zoe Kravitz is an appealing frame of Selena. How dare you?
Yep.
Then see what he's fighting some goons. I'm gonna pause here. Oh, and then
So
he beats the Penguin.
when he looks, um, it's obviously like one of our. I think it's alerted thugs and they're on their way, which is what he's looking at.
You
So
cut
he
off
lets Selena
for.
go while he deals with them.
I don't think your internet is all that great, Jeff, because you're cutting out a lot. You repeat.
Yeah,
Oh no.
it's just suddenly got into shit. Oh no.
Wait.
Um,
Might be
it
good now.
keeps. It just keeps going from green to red.
And now you know how I feel, because that happens every
Okay.
fucking call.
Yeah, but you barely talk, so it doesn't matter ultimately.
Oh,
Anyway. Oh, it's gone. Now, I think he's looking at fog coming up.
Jeff cutting out in the middle of every sentence is pretty sad. Shit, let me see. So then we cut to Batman grabbing the Penguin and threatening to punch. This could be the same location he was fighting the thugs based on the set design and background. I agree, the lighting pretty much means it's the same place. We see Batman walk through a corridor with people seeming calm. Hold on, let's play. So it might be an event of some kind. Well, Jeff, that is, yeah, that's a great note, Jeff. It might be an event of some kind. Amazing. No shit, Jeff. It might be an event of some kind. You see, this is why he should be here, because he wouldn't know what he means by it might be an event of some kind. But dude, come on. Might be. Oh, it's like that up next video that Jay covered, where they say Hawkeye might be feeling some type of way. It's like, yeah, dude. Oh shit.
well, I guess that fits here,
Jeb,
'cause
have you returned,
something's in
Jeb?
the way.
I hope so.
Okay,
I
so
really
Jeb, what do
do.
you mean by so it might be an event of some kind? Because I mean, yeah, obviously it is an event.
So it's in like a party for the Penguin or
Oh, okay.
something like that.
I
Well,
think it's in like the Iceberg Lounge actually. I think that was confirmed for this.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because what I viewed it as, because nobody was attacking him, is like that final mission in Arkham Asylum, where Joker invites you to the party, and there's like a bunch of goons just like that let you go past them, but you can fight them like optionally, and if you do, you gain an achievement if you beat all of them without getting punched. Point being, that's kind of what I was envisioning, which is like just like a party, something like that. So I guess he would have been invited or some shit by the Penguin. So, Jabber's still here? I need to know.
I am still here.
Oh, good.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
She doesn't look good with the red hair. I'm sorry.
Maybe we're not suited.
Ooh, and then we have this shot that everyone loves. Which, to be honest, it is a fantastic shot, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Top tier.
Like, it's Batman out of focus and the lighting. It's great. I really like it.
Fucking fireworks.
We couldn't hear them,
I know-
so don't worry.
I know you're autistic, but they're only fireworks.
Fuck off.
Schizophrenia. Zod has been watching way too much Legion recently. Actually, no, you can never watch too much Legion.
No, you definitely can.
Shut the
Swords
fuck
and
up.
nonce.
I've literally watched Legion like 10 times in its entirety, and I have it's not too much.
Well, don't be sure about that.
I'm fuck you. Yeah, then we see Batman and Catwoman on a rooftop.
Who are you under there?
And then we
So
have this shot.
Ah,
Okay.
ah.
Okay, Jeff,
So-
don't worry.
To go back a second, the rooftop of the party shots are related because same outfit. I couldn't make whoever the thug was grabbing. I'm going to assume is Batman. Best case scenario, but that does back up my theory that that when Batman looks up and speaking to Selena, he knows thugs are on the way and he lets her go. So it's like telling one mini story of the fight scene, which is neat.
Yes, I agree. And then we see this shot of Batman being shot with a bunch of rifles, pretty close.
Ah,
Yeah,
so
that's a shot that
there's
a
a
lot of
lot.
people don't seem to like. Seem to find a lot of issues with it.
And I did like a page explaining why it's fine.
Okay, this is where it
Oh,
begins.
here we
Yeah.
go.
Okay, Jack,
So
it's your moment.
I'm just gonna read all of this
Mhm.
because they've seen the scene. So the first shot, this is Batman. We also know this place can only be lit up by gunfire. That is very important. We then see him disarm the first guy, and he knocks into the second guy.
Was just showing it?
Yeah, you're probably not going to get precise on it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Then that second guy fires upwards and left, which makes sense based on his shooting hand and how he gets knocked back. So the way he takes out these two and they don't shoot him is completely fine. No issues. We then get brief darkness, and then we see the other two shoot, which is this. Now, a lot of people. Well, actually, no, I'll get to that. So we've established it is really dark, so they can't have a clear line of fire for any precise shots. This is why they don't go for the face area or the chin area, which we shall go for center mass, which is the chest. The guy on the right hits the upper right chest, and the rifle hits the chest. They keep trying to shoot, and it's getting harder now he's moving. They're more afraid, they're not aiming well, and recoil. Then there's the fact you can see the guy on the left. I think both of them actually. They're firing from the hip,
They
which
both are, yeah.
yeah, and that's not accurate aiming, of course. The lighting also stops at brief points, so it's like flick on and off, which will mess with reactions as well. You can also, when you see the shooting slowly, you can see the guy on the right is aiming low to hit the chest, then quickly tries to aim up, noticing it's not working, while the guy on the left is trying to get.
Ah, it went. You played for too long. Fuck.
It's fine. You can see how he's aiming up.
Yeah.
Whilst the guy on the left is trying to get higher, but is missing. Also, the gun spray in circular motion, meaning recoil is adjusting their shots slightly. Batman is moving McNaughton in new position. Now we've established context. Time to go through some arguments. Argument 1. This is plot armor. Defense. This can't be plot armor by definition. We do not know the plot that allows for this, or the circumstances. That's just ignoring everything else I've said. So, that's gone. Argument, why don't they just aim up? Defense, well, we've established they do, hence why they hit the shoulder. Furthermore, for initial shooting like this, you will always do center mass, because it's a lethal and big target. Being precise for the head, especially with small targets, is difficult, especially with these factors at play. And also, Batman has a black suit that will blend in with the environment. Argument, lucky one did shoot him accidentally in the face. Defense, if you looked at it from how many bullets fired, yes. However, that's ignoring context and looking at it in a vacuum. You can't get lucky if you never aim quote unquote close to the head. Close they get his shoulders, you can't suddenly change a bullet trajectory. Furthermore, there aren't any sudden compulsions, and that's a poor argument since that could be used for any shoot scene. Someone did try to argue, well, they might have had a compulsion, so that was terrible. Argument, they could easily shoot him, defense. Just the same as why they don't aim up, they can't easily shoot him. And we could infer they're not professionally trained like a soldier would be, because they look to be just street level thugs. Argument, why does a Batman just move? Defense, where to? Also, it's established he's not bothered how he gets hurt. He knows he can take this and the pain that comes with it. This is likely to be later on in his conquest where he knows his threshold's small. Argument, why don't the thugs move backwards? Defense, what would that solve? Also, it's not any more of a logical decision to keep trying to fire and taking him out. Final argument, Batman is OP now. Defense. Late in the trade, there's a red flare shot where his suit has taken damage. This means he's not impervious. This combined with a shot of injuries that look bullet related reinforce that. It actually makes sense in world building that Batman would build stuff that are strong against bullets, given that being the most common weaponry. And that's why this scene is fine.
There we go.
I've had so many arguments put to me, and every time I'm like, man, that there's a lot that goes into it. The only one that has some credence is him just walking, but we don't know the full extent of the armor. It could be shock absorbent, so it could absorb the kinetic energy in a similar way that vibranium does. So he's able to move. We just don't know. What we do know is that I don't think this is steel this time. I think this is different material by this point. Because the bullets aren't ricocheting, they're rather hitting, which makes me think it's ceramic. And also, I did some research on body armor and the categories. It turns out body armor can take this, not to this extent, this is probably exaggerated, but it can take rifle fire, and there's even a level that could take sniper fire. You got, I think this is type 3, but you got type 4 and 5, which is even more durable. So it is feasible in the real world with armor that's existed since the 60s. Basically, the scene is fine. It is fine.
Is it though? Is
That's
it?
what, like, it could go wrong in the film. It's actually pretty easy to go wrong in the film, but based on the trailer, it's fine. You can stop, guys. No BB guns. No sudden compulsion arguments. None of that. Doesn't matter. My God,
So we
that's
did
the
it.
longest I've spoken for.
Indeed it is.
Oh,
Oh no.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
no, this is just the end part of it before we get to the Avengers. Batman then obviously takes Thugs out, but he's aware that they have guns, hence why he extends only his arms out rather than his entire body and being close,
Hold on.
which you'll see in
Pausing
this,
for
which you'll
copyright.
see in a second.
Here, yeah. He takes them out really smart, yeah.
Yes, and that's very key in this. That's a
Easy.
nice screenshot.
What screenshots? Because I shared quite a few while you were talking. I was just memeing.
The recent one.
The Vengeance one. Yeah, that was nice. Chat was seeing me like do some weird shit while you were talking. So, you know.
I hope chat enjoyed it because I went on a really long
Yeah.
thing.
Jeb said more in that sequence than Zod did from EFEP, ECUM 1 to ECUM 29. That is true, yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, Zod didn't come into ECUM until ECUM, what, 10 or 9? So, you know, it's not that fair to Zod. You know, he's got 9 ECUMs to catch up, so.
Fuck him.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Eventually.
well,
Eventually you'll say like 2 sentences in a row. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I know, right? That'll be the day.
Hey, we did it.
nah, will never happen. Keep dreaming.
And then Batman says I'm vengeance, which is the line that everyone loves.
Yes.
Yeah, boy.
And then we see the fucking Batmobile and it looks fucking awesome. Like, I'm sorry, it looks like this mixture of Mad Max and Batman that I just fucking adore. It's so cool. I know, I just love it. Yeah. You see him driving it. And
So this is very interesting because we obviously see him in a clock tower, but we see police after Batman, which suggests two things. Either at this point he's being hunted because he's a vigilante, or what might be the more interesting one is a corrupt high-ranking member is trying to stop Batman finding answers, thus framing him in some form.
I agree. I don't have much to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are theories indeed. That could or could not come true. Yeah. Oh Jesus Christ! The cinematography in this film is fucking amazing already.
I have another theory.
All right.
this is left field. This is pure spectator. But what we do know, this seems to be after the bombing, maybe, because there's far too many police to be a simple court trial. So this is very major. And I think that he's going to be framed for that bombing, and that's what caused to be hunted.
That's interesting. Considering it's in the beginning of his career, it actually makes quite a bit of sense that they would do that. As opposed to, something like, oh, I don't know, if Mysterio tried to blame Spider-Man for everything that happened in Far From Home.
Yes.
I think this makes a lot more sense if it's at the beginning of his career. Yeah. I think it's been... Okay, Tin died. That's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't read Year One in a while, but doesn't something similar happen where they try to frame Batman? And Gordon is like on Batman's side, even though the entire police isn't, and the police is super corrupt. Which is kind of why he turns to Batman.
Probably Batnick would know more than I do.
Yeah, it's been too long since I read Year One. I'm just DMing to see if Tin is okay, but it happens.
I'm glad he's dead.
Well, this shot is also really cool. This suit all fucking dirty. It's like, yeah, you're really showing how like it takes a toll on Batman even physically to just be Batman. Which, like, the Nolan films touched on slightly, but it's like, yeah, it's just touched on. Whereas, I don't know, I think this is going to be a big part of his character, having to endure or something like that. To a point where, like he was saying, I don't care what happens to me. Which is like, yeah, it's part of his character. So I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this bit where he's just beating on the thug.
Yeah, and fucking Selena looks fucking shocked as hell.
Yes.
See, here we saw some of the scars as well on his back, which is part of what I was saying of the physical toll it takes on him. You can see scars here, and it's like, yeah. Seems quite a big part of this trailer showing the physical toll it takes to be Batman. Just the editing is so good.
We didn't obviously see the close up, but if you, that's good enough. You can see all the bullet markings. So you can see if you look closely, there's a hole, which shows it does take damage as a suit.
Yes. Which is why I imagine it looks so thick, because it has to be, otherwise he's fucked pretty much. Which probably also has like some under armor as well under that. True. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I think. Which means we obviously know this takes place in the same location as the controversial scene.
Yes. Shit. No, I want to pause on that because it's such a great shot. Here we are.
Yes.
This shot is just perfection. Like, the cinematography is already fucking amazing. I love it so much. Marcus like seeing Robert Pattinson covered in dirt. Can't say I disagree. I mean, if you're horny for Robert Pattinson, I have nothing against that. But not me.
Pretty based, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Imagine being fucking by you chrongoloids.
Happy birthday.
Isn't Robert Pattinson in the Batman actually part of the reason why you're bi?
What?
You told me like seeing him in the trailer is that's one of the things that set off you being bi.
Well, that's not technically how that works, but yes. It's not like I saw Robert Pattinson was like, oh, okay, I'm bi now. But like,
it is how it works because I set the bi rules and that's how it works. So shut up.
Hey, you little cunt! I was the one that randomly said he was, and then I was right all along.
Yes, but who dated him for like 6 months? Not you. So fuck off.
Okay then.
Yes.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
Marcus, defend me right now. Defend my honor. Defend my honor.
Okay, Jeb's honor. I'm defending you right now. Okay. Anyway, trailer. See you in hell.
Yeah, see.
Yes, see. I agree, Jeb. Could not agree more.
V.
Yes, C. Famous last word.
See you in hell, Tim.
Oh, that was the joke. Okay, that was a long build up for it. Okay, all right. So yeah, we see this "see you in hell" thingy. Let's explosion. I don't know when you pause or not, Jeb. You gotta pause it because whenever you want
You've
to talk.
paused at a good time.
Good.
You have paused at a good time. So, I had the theory that this could be the Gotham court bombing he's reacted to. However, if you look in the background, it seems to be regular news, so I'm not entirely sure because that would be breaking news.
Okay, yeah, potentially. I
Yeah.
agree with Jeb's hypothesis. Oh, that was good acting from Andy Serkis. Ooh, that shot is great. Okay, I'm sorry. This shot is so good. And then we see like Colin Farrell like, fuck you, I killed you, Batman. And it's like, no, you didn't. And we see a fucking mirror shot of Batman, of the Batmobile jumping through fire, and it's the coolest fucking thing you see all year, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Like, yeah, so cool, dude. And he fucking hits Penguin, and people are like, yo, he could have killed Penguin there. That is out of character, even though we don't know how his rule it works in this film, or how the rule was going when the rule was going to be established, and everything about that. So it's just lack of context. You cannot say that Batman is going against this no kill rule here. We don't even know if he is gonna have a no kill rule. I imagine so, but point is, yeah. And then we see yeah, Jab is dying, but we like this shot. Hold on, this shot is amazing. Fucking yes.
It is the best shot.
Yeah. Jeez, the soundtrack is already fucking amazing. Michael Giacchino's master. And then we see the Batman logo, and it's whoa, that was a fantastic trailer, and that's as we just broke it down. That's why it's fucking amazing. And March 4th, 2022 is when we'll see it. And yes, we are excited. So yeah, I'm glad we did this. Yeah. That was great. I love this trailer a lot. Is there anything else you want to add, Jeb? Okay, Jeb is dying again, so that's great.
The film's going to be excellent, probably, based on this.
Yes, if it's as good as the trailer makes it out to be, then yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for the Batman right now. So I think now means we're going to talk about Doctor Who. So
Yeah.
Oh,
is
yeah.
everyone excited? Yeah.
Speaking of Doctor Who, it might be worth announcing. Yes, we are doing the ECUM.
ECUM Extra. Yeah, we're doing the ECUM Extras,
Yeah.
reacting to the entire season of Doctor Who, which will be out. Hopefully, first episode will be out Sunday, and I'm gonna try to upload them weekly.
Yes, we've done episode 1, which is being edited.
Yeah, I'm editing it. It should be out Sunday. I am not sure if it will. I hope it will. It depends on how much time I have this weekend to finish editing and deal with fucking copyright shit.
Yes. Spoilers, episode bad.
Yeah, Jeb's cutting out a lot. But yeah, spoilers for Doctor Who now. Series 13, the Doctor Who Flux. It's episode 1. Fucking, what's it called? Halloween Apocalypse. Amazing. And, yeah. So what do you think of it?
2 out.
Okay. It's hard to deal with fucking Jeb. Okay. Zod, what did you think of Halloween Apocalypse? Go on.
Well, as you'll see in the react on whenever the fuck it comes out, it's just it pretty much just killed me. Like,
Mhm.
it's just stupid bullshit on top of just really fucking pathetic pacing. Countless, just all these scenes that just don't serve any purpose in the actual episode. They're all just setups for things that are yet to come. It's just it distracts from the actual plot of the episode, and just trying to keep up. It's just it hurts. It's a painful episode to watch. It hurts.
I concur with Zod's conclusion. Yeah, it's fucking garbage. It's the plot line. Nothing about it makes sense, and they assassinate the Doctor once again because it's just classic fucking Chibnall assassinating the Doctor for the billionth time, and really just destroys the Doctor when she tries to she brings the Flux, which is universe destroying being, or not being, this universe destroying goo, brings it towards Earth and destroys a bunch of planets in the solar system. So, that's not the best thing that she could have done. Hot take, I know, but yeah. And then, we had like a bunch of really pointless scenes that really kill the pacing. Like they have nothing to do with the main plot line, as Zod was saying. Especially the Liverpool waiting to anyone. It's like, what the fuck does this have to do with the plot line of this episode? Which is all establishing shit for later on in the season, but like that's not how you do it. You just don't insert random scenes at random points. That really kills the pacing. Especially when the scenes are as long as you're making them to be, which is something I think, I gotta do it because it's me. But yeah, the comparison I always make, I've been making is with Legion, because Legion season 1 has to establish so many different mysteries and small plot points that not all of the time they're completely related to the main story, but they still does it in a way that makes sense, like naturally, to involve it in the story, and not have these scenes like be fucking really long to try to establish this kind of shit, to establish these mysteries and everything, which Legion does well, and Doctor Who is just like, let's just throw things in the episode and see how it goes. But Dan was like not a terrible character, so that's not awful.
2 out.
I agree with Jab that it's a 2 out of 10, even though he didn't get to finish the sentence. But yeah. So Tin, what did you think of Doctor Who Flux episode 1?
Well, I thought it was absolutely fucking shit.
Yo, hot take
And,
around here. Dodd one out.
I know, hot take, but easily probably one of the worst sort of series openers in all of New Who. like the whole sort of it's setting up like, take like one of my favorite sort of rewatchable episodes, Partners in Crime, which is the opening for series 4. You didn't say shit like the fucking Jadoon show up from like at the end, showing up in the first episode. Because there's this little thing called not needing to set up every single thing in the first one, just hoping that people stick around until episode 6. Because that's not how it works. You fucking twat. You're supposed to have gradual pacing and set things up naturally, not just go, "Hey, Weeping Angel." Anyway.
Oh yeah, that Weeping Angel scene was something, wasn't it? We all hated it. It was so fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Claire fucking blinked 3 times during that scene. The Weeping Angel just standing in the middle of the street for absolutely no reason, as opposed to just being like in an alley or some shit. So dumb.
And her just saying to herself, "Don't blink, don't blink, don't blink." I'm like, no fucking shit, Sherlock. We know how these things work.
Yeah.
We've seen Weeping Angels for 14 fucking years. We know how they work. We don't need to just casually say, "Don't blink, don't blink, don't blink." I'm like, it's again, like I say in the extra, it just feels like I just like saying, he said the thing. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, it
Just
seemed like
shut
he was really trying to be like nostalgia baiting in some ways, like with the hammer thingy, with the
Yeah.
the TARDIS being like, "Yo, remember 10th Doctor?"
Yeah, like I mean, like, 11 didn't use the hammer on his TARDIS, neither did 12, but suddenly 13 just brings it back. And better yet, she does it on on a TARDIS, which can literally shatter.
Oh yeah, remember when?
Why would you
Yeah,
use a hammer on a TARDIS made mostly of glass?
yeah, and then she uses it to break it open to use the vortex to fight the flux, which is a
Like,
smart, I guess. I don't know.
she does remember that there was like a specific button and a panel that Nine had to open the panel up. You didn't have
It's the
to.
kind of thing you'd think would be
you
way
didn't
more
have
secure, right? Like the idea,
Like-
like remember, wasn't it in Bad Wolf that when she
That was
when
kind of a waste, but she had to like pull it open with like a massive truck.
yeah, I was gonna
Like
say she
that's
had to
what
use a
freaking
fucking
secure is.
truck. Yeah, it was
And-
super hard, and
and-
she's like bangs it with the hammer.
13 bangs it with a hammer.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And the thing is, so let's assume she was trying to save Earth, destroying half the solar system. You've destroyed Earth. And the worst bit, people like to go, "Oh, she might have had to play with Carvanisa." No, she literally didn't have a plan. She had no idea what she was gonna do.
Oh yeah, yeah. She came up with her plan halfway through bringing it to Earth, as opposed to just telling the Cavernist about it, like as she was going towards it, as opposed to just as she was arriving on Earth. She had like no more time left when she told them about it. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and she just casually lets a few planets get destroyed. That won't do anything to Earth. Just casually let Neptune and all that get blown up. Nah, should be fine. It's not like that's gonna fuck with the gravitational forces of
Ridiculous.
the solar system and completely fuck over Earth for the next few years. Nah, should be fine.
And the mark of a terrible writer with a twist, with the Carvanista being guardians, you have to make them act completely opposite as they should be.
It was hilarious. I was editing it. I was keeping in mind, like, yeah, he's supposed to be keeping Dan safe. It's like, you're really not doing that. You're supposed to be keeping humans safe, but you set a trap to kill the people who are following you, including a human and the humanoid form. It's like, why would you do that? And also, when he uses the house to shrink, remember that dude was like, I was like, yo, why did the wall from that other building also shrink? It was like, was it just for the joke? But if it's not that accurate to a point where part of a wall from an adjacent building also shrinks, wouldn't that mean that he's putting in danger the person from the next house, which in terms means that he's like endangering the species he's supposed to be protecting right now? Which is
That's exactly my fault.
yeah, it's just so dumb. Just real quick, Dominic, don't edit saying I have to get ready for work. Hope you lads and chat have a great day. Peace. And thank you, Dominic, and you have a good day at work, hopefully. But yeah, so that episode, not great, not gonna lie. But one thing I think we all liked was, well, we all thought was the best part was Dan, right? With especially like the characterization he had in terms of his state of living and how he always tried to help people, even to like his own detriment, to a point where he was like, oh, people are like, that one was like, oh, take some soup, and he's like, no, there are people who need it more than me. But then when he gets home, he has like absolutely no food in his fridge and shit like that. So
Yeah, and when he's captured by the Carvanista and he's actually like asking the
yeah,
right
he was asking the
questions,
questions we were asking, which is like, yeah, the Cavernista was being dumb, but at least Dan was being smart, which is like, yeah, I like that. That is good writing, somewhat in some way, not 100%, but not terrible. And also, I liked how Dan related to this woman called Diane. She's this woman that apparently they clearly were hinting that they kind of have. I think he screamed SJW down his mic, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but yeah, Diane and him, they seem to be interested in one another. It's like, yeah, that's pretty neat. Like their interaction wasn't like the best written, but it was like not terrible, and it's actually giving him like a romantic interest and some stakes, and like because she's captured later on in the episode, so it actually makes you think, oh, I wonder how that's gonna play out for the rest of the season, like how Dan is gonna react to knowing that Diane is was captured and shit like that, and how he's going to try to deal with that fact. Like that could be interesting. And Diane was a pretty neat character. She was charismatic somewhat. And the actress who plays Diane has only one arm, and that's that's not a thing that the episode ever acknowledges, like at all. at most, as Mr. Tardis was saying in his video, it's just, this subtextual thing that you could only, like, if you could pick up on it, but it's like it's never explicit. But it's like never draws attention to it. It never shows her as like special for having one less arm or like as lesser, which I like. Just being, disabled people exist and they live among us. It's, as hard as it is to accept that, disabled people exist. Isn't that right, Tim? So it's just
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting that some people seem to have said some people seem to have said some interesting things about the existence of Diane, especially our fellow good old Nerdrotic, or Gary from Nerdrotic. And today we're gonna cover a video from Gary where he talks about this new episode. So are you guys all excited about this? It's going to be great.
Yay!
Oh,
He's gonna say a lot of true stuff.
he's gonna say so many truthful and not so disingenuous stuff.
And full disclosure, you can't go with Chibnall fans because we literally hate this era. We're just not disingenuous faggots like that.
That is how desperate this guy has made us. We are actually defending this era.
Yeah. It's pretty funny because I think the first time I ever talked to Jeb, we were talking about the Marvel, and then it descended into a conversation about Doctor Who. And we're like hating on Chibnall Who, and not a single moment did we mention like it being SJW or something like that. I think the moment we talked about the most was the 13 ignoring Graham when he's talking about his cancer, which is obviously like the moment I think all four of us would hate that moment the most from the entirety of Chibnall's era. I don't know about you guys, but it's probably the moment I hate the most.
Yes, that made me give up on this hour categorically.
That's why I'm glad I never saw that episode, and I just know that scene from Infamy, and I already hate it.
Yeah, that's one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in Doctor Who. So we hate the show nowadays. We hate what it's become under Chibnall. We're hopeful that RTD is gonna bring it back. Hopefully, it's RTD. He's a good writer. As you can tell by his other shit he's written, like It's a Sin and Years and Years. Isn't that right, Tim?
Yeah, I just binged through that earlier today, and up to about episode 5, I think, and he's still got it. Yeah. Definitely still.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but everyone I talk to says It's a Sin and Years are amazing, which makes me really hopeful that RTD, still a good writer. He wrote Midnight in 3 days, so you gotta give him some credit for being a good writer,
Piece of shit.
He's gonna save us from the SJWs. He's gonna make it not political anymore.
Oh yes, RTD, the gay writer who's always written about these minorities and everything he's written, including Doctor Who.
Oh no.
But yeah, so let us see what Nerdrotic has to say about this new episode of Doctor Who. And he calls it Doctor Who Flux Flops. And I just want to show the thumbnail because I think it's funny. And this is the thumbnail. So, But the thumbnail seems kind of disingenuous because the ratings aren't really that low. But we'll see if he actually brings up ratings or if he only means like fan reception, because maybe what he means by flops is like the reception of it was bad. So we don't know yet. Let's see what he has to say about it. And yeah, let's begin.
Don't be ridiculous, Franklin. I've read the files. The Doctor is a man.
I've had an upgrade. Hi.
Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut it up.
So the thing is, to begin with, he's now... I don't really like that moment either, but why is he using a Series 12 clip about Series 13 if not to poison the well already?
Like, what does this have to do with anything? Like this is about Flux, not from Spyfall. Like
it's basically going, here's how to make the audience come in with the preconception that this is going to be bad before I make any points. It's a thing that these people like to do. They like to add harms and such to try and poison that well to shield themselves.
I hope he fucking gets poisoned.
Fucking hell, Ted. We can't wish death on people or stuff like that.
I can and I will.
Full disclosure, at least myself, do not support this action. Don't say all ECUM did this like Paragon, otherwise I will come for you.
I will say something else here.
Of course.
The timing for this opening joke is really terrible. Like,
Yes.
what you would do to make the joke in quotations funny is you have to cut in the middle of what she's saying, and then you have 12th Doctor saying "shut up," and you like zoom into his face, and you only have him say "shut up" twice, and then boom, you cut to the opening, to his intro, and then, yeah, that's the joke, as opposed to just letting the full clip play, which seems kind of like just you don't know how memes work. Though to be fair, Gary is a boomer, so you know, consistent with this character. So let's get into the video.
We're only 12. We're only 12
After
seconds.
all of the franchises that vandalized, deconstructed, and completely
Again, another instance of where he's trying to poison a well. The way Nerdrotic frames everything is in really negative terms rather than let the things talk for themselves. And in this way, that his audience is like, wow, I agree, despite not having the context themselves. A bunch of bootlickers. I'm going all in on them. They're retards. TFM, but not every member of TFM, but a lot of them very retarded, and they do similar tactics.
destroyed by the entertainment industry. Doctor Who worst case. The absolute best or worst example of everything woke turns to shit, or get woke, go broke, choose whatever.
So let's deal with that narrative about Doctor Who, shall we? Ooh. So for context, a lot of their arguments tend to be that ratings are plummeting, merchandise are plummeting, whatever. So firstly, the ratings are going down, but I'll explain later why that's not a concern. In terms of Doctor Who in of itself. Merchandise, I can't give you the figures for that, but likely they are going down because those are huge hiatus.
Well, and
But
also,
Doctor-
isn't there like a big issue where Doctor Who, because they want to keep everything secretive, the toys are being sold way much later than they should be, and that's because that
Yes.
causes like sales to go down. So, for example, was it Revolution of the Daleks or Resolution, whatever? They had like that different. Yeah, it was Resolution that had that different Dalek. It was months later, well, over a year later, I think, for when what Mr. Tardis mentioned in his video, that it was being sold in stores, and it's because they were trying to keep everything a secret in regards to marketing and shit like that, so they wouldn't like give not to give it the opportunity to leak stuff. They weren't like giving the places that fabricate and sell toys like what what the show would be making, what what's gonna be in the show. So these Daleks would be the like Resolution Dalek was made like way later than it should, and so the sales are much low because it's like when the episode isn't popular anymore because it's like way later, as opposed to like series 4 or like 5, for example, when Matt Smith just regenerated, you had like, oh, it's a Matt Smith fucking toys already being sold, which is just may have been worse in terms of leaks, but it's better in terms of selling toys. So it's I guess it's cheap, not trying to be way too secretive. So
Yes, and it's worth noting as well, if we ignore like toys and that, Big Finish is only ever growing, especially with bigger acquisitions, such as having Ninth Doctor return. That was monumental. Doctor Who has been doing stuff like Time Fracture now, and it's expanding more in that, which shows that's gaining profits. What else is there? The Series 13 Steelbook, I just looked now, is now #1 in science fiction. Before it was #1 in other categories. Show gets a bestseller in many areas. What else? There was something else. The fact it's going to be in the centenary special means it's profitable enough and big enough to be a vital part of it, which means BBC still see a future, which means it makes money in some form. The Bad Wolf situation where they can afford reportedly 40 million. To afford that, you need to have a profit of some kind. You can't be operating on major losses. There's something else. about Doctor Who games. There's games been coming out, and that's actually been getting bigger. And the plan is to expand Doctor Who not as a global, just as a global brand, but in many different areas. And there's a theme park thing with Doctor Who going to be involved. So yeah, Doctor Who isn't going broke, contrary to popular belief, nor is it gone woke, contrary to popular belief. And the reason why it hasn't gone woke is because if you're a fan of the show, like Gary claims, and yes, I'm gatekeeping here because to be a fan you need to know this, Doctor Who has always been left-siding in politics. It hasn't really been on the side of the right, and it's been very liberal with it. So even in the classic era, we had the Silurians as the focus around colonization. Genesis of Daleks, all about war and the implications of genocide. Modern Who, we've had RTD do. He literally had an episode about farting aliens that were hell bent on capitalism to destroy our planet using war, and that was an allegory for the current parliament. So yeah, to pretend Doctor Who is a non-political show or what they define as SJW as is disingenuous, really disingenuous. I just and this is what Nerdrotic and etc. like to do. They like to pretend as if Doctor Who's only recently gone woke. It's only recently lost money because it's gone woke. They never, if you notice, they never actually validate their things with proper references. It's either speculation or they cherry pick things, and it's pissing me off.
I'd also want to say something in regards to the get woke or broke kind of narrative that everyone from the fundamentals likes to spin. It's retarded. Like, do you think we know, like, just because of how much we engage in film discussion, how much we know about the fundamentals, especially because of how they relate to EFAP, and like our community is very involved in EFAP, so we know quite a bit. It's like, yeah, we know what they mean with get woke or broke, but is that actually like true? Does the casual audience, the people who actually give money to these properties, the people who pay the money to watch these properties, do you actually think they care about something going woke? They don't really understand what that is, nor do they care. And I actually have an anecdote that kind of proves my point. So when I was watching Endgame, I went with 3 friends. One who was pretty invested in the anti-SJW shit, kind of like me at the point. Thankfully, I'm not anymore because I stopped being retarded. And one hardcore MCU fan and one casual MCU fan. So while we were watching, I imagine you all know what moment I'm going to reference. The moment where all the female heroes in the Avengers, they all team up, and it's like, it seems super out of place and it's completely forced. It's like, what's happening? Why are these characters just teaming up? It's like, yeah, they want you to have a girl power moment. And me and my friend, the other anti-SJW one, we groaned, like, oh shit, that's terrible. And then the other 2 friends, they were like super upset at us, like, why the fuck are you hating on that? It's like, it's the kind of thing where people generally aren't gonna care about something like that, especially when it's small. So like, when you have a line in Spyfall where she says, I've had an upgrade, that's cringe, but the rest of the episode doesn't tackle that at all. It's not like a thing that's an overarching theme. It's like, she had an upgrade by becoming a woman, or something like that. Like, it's just casual mentions. It's the kind of thing where like, yeah, okay, it's doing that. It's just, I think the get woke or broke is just like, oh, I'm seeing these things that are bad, and also they're having lower ratings. I'm gonna say they're SJW because that's what I recognize things that I don't like as anymore. They have to be SJW no matter what. And if that's the case, and if they're getting lower ratings, get woke or broke. But correlation doesn't mean causation. And also, like you said, Jeff, like, the ratings aren't as bad as these people make it out to be. So it's just a really fucking dumb argument for these people that kind of
Also,
really annoys me.
Also want to add something else because you said Marvel. I do strongly believe Marvel has taken a turn to go more into the political realm with Falcon and Winter Soldier and stuff.
Oh, I'd say even
But
Eternals is quite political in a way that I don't think a lot of people will like, because it tackles especially moral ambiguity in a way that I think is really interesting. In terms of like a humanitarian versus like a utilitarian point of view. Sorry to cut you off. It's just I like Eternals.
but like literally the MCU's probably gotten more into that direction, but it's making more money. Like Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, whatever your thoughts are, they were insane successes, despite what the founder managed to try to peddle out for Disney Plus.
Yeah, wasn't WandaVision like the most watched show until Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then that wasn't the most watched show until Loki? It was like fucking insane the amount of viewers they had. Like it beat Mandalorian as most watched show, like for a huge margin, which is impressive considering how many people already watch Mando.
Exactly, they became quite honestly global phenomena, and Disney Plus exceeded expectations due to these kind of shows. MCU is still making money in its films, or make enough money to warrant the losses due to mitigated circumstances.
Yeah, and when you consider like Shang-Chi, no matter what Az tries to say is it's the 5th lowest Marvel opening ever, it was a huge success for Marvel. Like it was an insane success, especially on a post-COVID world. And it's like it is a really big thing for them that a movie like that with just this unknown character made this much money. It is pretty impressive. They didn't like gross more than Black Widow, which is just like Black Widow is a character that's been established in the MCU since 2010. It's
Let me check. So far, it's made 427.2 million in the box office. Hasn't got to Disney Plus yet. Meanwhile, Black Widow has made 379 million in the box office. Try to see if that includes Disney Plus numbers. Yeah, that's a bit hard to gather. Apparently 125 million through streaming and downloads. So overall 500 million. But Shang-Chi's gonna get a huge boost due to Disney Plus stuff.
yeah.
So, box office wise, it did more than Black Widow. And it caused films to be released earlier. So, it's very misrepresented to pretend otherwise.
Indeed. So I think it's really disingenuous to just keep saying, "Oh, get woke or broke" and shit like that. So yeah, not really. Like whether or not I want Shang-Chi to bomb, it was because it's a bad film. It's not really just like woke or anything. Like there was that one moment I think with what's her face, the sister Xialing. I thought was fucking cringe, but like other than that, yeah. And it's like people don't care about that, and people want to see that clearly because of how much money the film is making and how everyone loves it. So I think just like it's trying to spin a narrative about something that they think it's way more prevalent than it actually is because they live in their own little bubble. They don't actually can understand like outside reactions other than the extreme ones to make them out to be super unreasonable, which is the appeal to absurdity, right? Fallacy, where it's you try to make a point of view seem absurd to invalidate it, which is just not really what most reasonable people do, which is just a common staple for the Phantom Menace, which is just something we really, really don't like having to deal with.
I mean, I don't know how they could paddle this go broke narrative when Black Panther, which is probably the most political MCU film in terms of discussing social politics and stuff, was a cultural phenomena. People are still doing Wakanda Forever today. Chadwick Boseman is seen as a inspiration to so many black individuals, especially children. So
yeah, and even regardless of Marvel, when you have like shows so let's talk about a show like Euphoria, a show that deals with extremely what people call SJW topics, such as one of the main characters being trans and dealing with about her troubles of being trans. She's portrayed by a trans actor who's been like a trans activist for years and years. And in the show, she ends up in a relationship with a woman who's played by Zendaya. It's like, oh, it's a lesbian relationship with a trans woman as one of the characters. And we have something dealing with body shaming because of a character who's fat and she was still a virgin by the time the show began. And abusive relationships and dealing with a character's own sexuality because he's trying to figure out, oh shit, maybe I am gay, and it's kind of like freaking him out. And all of that is like, oh, these are a lot of topics that could be clearly considered SJW. And it's a show made by A24. It's not like a fucking... of course, it was published by HBO Max, but it's like, it's A24. It's not this huge production company. It's not a Sony project. It's not a Netflix project. You know, it's an A24 project. But everyone watches the show. Everyone loves it, and everyone talks about it. It's like, I think it became a huge phenomenon, and people really love it. And it tackles these SJW topics. It's like... it is not really go woke or broke. I think just it's a very narrow-minded view to have, to be like, yeah, go get woke or broke. And it's just, if you talk about these topics that relate more to someone's gender identity, their race, their sexuality, that's going to inherently make people dislike it more, because it's supposed to be escapism, like TV and films, which I think is also really a diminutive way of looking at TV and films, because I think they can be very introspective and really interesting to take a look at, like, one's own I guess morals and values, that I think is really interesting. Like, I watched Her with Tin. Well, I watched it for like the fourth time, but Tin watched it with me for the first time, and Her is just a fantastic film. And it's like, I would never call that film escapism. That film, it's pretty depressing at a lot of points, but it's such an amazing introspection at how loneliness can make you feel, and how you can kind of make yourself unavailable to your partner in a relationship because of that loneliness, because you kind of don't want to share, you want to share your life with them, but you can't find a way to do it properly. And a lot of that, which I think the film tackles really well, but it's not a film that I would say is escapism. It's not a film that I would rewatch over and over, because it's like, oh yes, it's just fun. Like, The Suicide Squad is a film like that. It's just fun. But Her is a film like that really delves deep into what it means to be in a relationship, what it means to be human, even, because he starts dating an OS. And it's just, I think, yeah, it's a lot of views that the Phantom Menace has that I've had a lot of issues with for a while, and that's why I'm going on this huge tangent. I don't like the way they view films and TV, because I think they're really narrow-minded, because they want to fit their narrative of, oh, it's SGW, therefore it's bad, therefore nobody can like it, therefore it's having lower numbers than it used to. Like, it went broke, and the old times are great, and the new things are shit. So,
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
So, are we ready to move on with the video?
Yes.
Yeah, because we're 28 seconds in. We talked for like 30 minutes. That's fine.
Oh god.
Whatever you like. So why am I reviewing the premiere or Doctor Who Flux? And the first episode was called The Halloween Apocalypse. Well, we've already had the Doctor Who Apocalypse, and this entire season and all of my reviews will be nothing more than an autopsy. Yes, as I reported here, Russell T Davies, the great showrunner who brought Doctor Who back, who created some of the best television I've ever seen, is returning.
Funny you say that, but is against SJW politics. As I said, actually, let's break down season 1. Let's go into that, shall we?
Oh, God.
Episode 1 is about reliance on shopping and how it's being marketed to individuals.
Yeah, I would say it's more like a slight against consumerism in a way.
Yes. Episode 2 is against the rich, watching things burn and die when they could help it. Wow. And also it's about the addiction to like beauty products and fake like plastic surgery and all that. That was becoming a trend in those days.
Oh yeah, which was the point where, like, when do you stop being human with Cassandra? Like, you're just like flesh with face, but are you actually human? And like, just being from the same species doesn't make you human anymore. It's to a point where, like, you shouldn't just keep continuing to change yourself to fit this narrative, as opposed to just be who you actually are and kind of accept who you are. Which doesn't go against, like, trying to improve yourself, but it's being like accepting that you are who you are, no matter what, to a point where you just, you should accept, yes, I am human, I may have these flaws, but I'm gonna, I may stop living and shit like that. And
Yep.
you don't need to, oh yeah, didn't it have like something about purification of race as well, because it was like the less true human, because the other humans are like
Yes.
born in other planets, so that's also, political.
And then you had the Savine, which are pro-capitalist, like not say capitalist is bad, but the ones that will be extreme on it for nefarious means and then inhumane. And they were masquerading as politicians lying to the public for war purposes, which was a commentary on Tony Blair and the Middle East situation. And the Elliot's are farting to ridicule these politicians, but if you want to pretend that it's an SJW, be my guest.
Yeah.
Dalek's about, again, that's pro, I guess, What would that be?
Well, it's against capitalism in a way, right? Because that
Yes.
character was like, he owned this entire army and all these fucking extremely valuable and old objects. And was keeping them like in a safe for himself, just because he wanted to be the richest man in the world, as opposed to sharing that technology with the world to advance the technology to better protect Earth. So I guess
Yep,
it'd be
and
kind of against capitalist greed in a way.
then you got The Long Game, which is about how people blindly believe in newspapers and how they could control the general
Information,
public.
yeah, and
Yeah,
control people through information, which is really political, and it's really topical as well. Everything everyone talks about in terms of fake news nowadays. So
and it was about the oversaturation of game shows and how people do ridiculous things to even harm themselves just to be on a show, which is even happening today.
yes,
So there's another one. What else was there? Father's Day isn't really political.
not
which,
really, no.
Boomtown is political for the same reasons as Sophie Two-Parter.
Yeah.
The Empty Child of Dr. Dances does have political elements with the con man situation, where again people are doing things for their own greed to gain a profit.
Yes.
The finale talks about genocide, talks about again news being published to people, the game shows. Season 1 is very political, and then it probably only gets more political from there. Then RTD.
I mean, just if you get season 4, Planet of the Ood, it's an extremely left-wing episode, and me as an NCAP, I'm fine with it. I think it's a fantastic episode. It's the kind of thing you're like, I hate it. I hate when people are this retarded. But like, yeah, RTD was always political. Doctor Who was always political. You can't just say it's not. Like even Classic Who, I think you can certainly jab into. You guys know more about Classic Who than we do. It's like, even then it had a lot of political elements. And it's just not. Didn't suddenly become political once Moffat, once it reached series 9 and 10, or once Chibnall took over. It's just not the case.
And what really pisses me off is when they make the claim that there's forced diversity or diversity hire, but then they're like, oh, I really love the RTD era. What, the one that cast the first black companion? And that was kind of everywhere at the time, whether it be by newspapers or as a landmark for the show, in the same way that the Doctor was a female for the first time.
Yeah.
Same goes for Captain Jack. Like, forced diversity, but I love Captain Jack, the guy who's probably
it's like
the gayest
pansexual,
fucking
yeah.
character. He's like the gayest character in the whole show. And will fuck anything that moves. Yeah, totally not diverse.
And then there's side characters such as Russell Tovey's character, the midshipman frame. He's gay, Alonso.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Don't you fucking dare!
Nobody in the stream understands why I'm laughing.
Alright, so to give context for the people.
No context. No context. Russell Tovey is gay.
Context.
10. And moving on.
He's gay 10. Then there was Sky at Midnight as another example. She was a lesbian, or at least just into women. The Doctor, when Rose was questioning how they had interspecies relationships, he made very clear that people are very open when it's in the future. That you're happy to
which implies which implies progress of the just in terms of acceptance, which is heavily political, because conservatives are against that kind of progress in terms of accepting different, in quotation marks, people, and just gays or trans, non-binary, shit like that they can't accept as existing, which is quite not right-wing. It's quite very left-leaning in terms of that progress. Just show, that's how it happens, which makes sense from a world building standpoint, but also shows that it is political.
Yeah, it's just quite honestly, you can't literally say that and go, RTD is my favourite era, when quite honestly he's the most political out of the three. And he always has been. I've been reading his book, and every page mentions his politics and how he woves them into his writing.
Which is just something you do
Yeah.
as a writer. Like, your own personal views are always going to be reflected by your writing, whether you want to or not, because, you're writing.
Yeah, and even in more recent times, he's still very political. Like his other shows, It's a Sin, which is about gay relationships in like the 80s and 90s and like AIDS and all that. Years and Years is basically just politics, the TV show. But I know there's a black woman, there's a boy that likes to dress up as a woman. Literally the entire show is based around politics, and also I think it's called a very English Scandal,
Yes.
which is about a scandal a politician had about being in a gay relationship a couple of decades ago. So yeah, this is what RTD specializes in.
I mean, his first show, which I think is called Queer as Folk, it tackled the HIV situation. Back then, it tackled abortion, which was seen as taboo subjects in TV media. He didn't give a shit, and it turned out to be a controversial show, but a successful one. So, I don't know. RTD might be a very political writer.
Just maybe.
Yeah,
It's
point
a bit-
being... Yeah, sorry. Oh, you were done. Okay, I'm sorry, Tin. I'm retarded. It happens. Don't worry. Point being, RTG has always been political, and if you say he's delivered some of the best TV, you cannot say that he's never been political or he's never had SJW content or shit like that in his content. And if you try to argue that, we can, like, with all the examples we just used, we can easily just shut it down and say, yeah, no, he's more political than Chibnall, he's more political than Moffat, so I don't care.
I mean, Genesis of Androzani actually raised a good point. When you mentioned Classic Who, the first ever Doctor Who story after The Unearthly Child has the Doctor encourage
I remember that,
the
yeah,
cavemen to share the fire.
instead of have it only be owned by one special person. Yeah, I remember that. It was good dialogue, if I remember correctly. That was one
Yeah,
of the
it
few original Classic Who stories I've watched. And it's, yeah, the Doctor has always been political. I mean, you remember in was it series 10 where he had that dialogue against capitalism? Well, I guess more,
Yeah, well, like-
not just capitalism itself, but more what capitalism leads to, which...
The exploitation of
capitalism
workers.
is just-
Yeah.
Where like they sell you your own oxygen.
Yeah, where it's like what capitalism can lead to. It's the kind of thing where we should get away from. Which being in Kappa, I disagree that's what capitalism would lead to, but I think he's more like what it can lead to as opposed to what it will lead to 100%. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Point being, I don't really care whether I agree with him or not. Is more important the fact that, yes, the Doctor has always been political. And
To put
doesn't Nerdvartic say Series 10 is good? No, he says it's SJW, right?
Yep,
Yeah, because Bill's black and lesbian.
Because
Yeah.
Bill's a lesbian and she reminds you every 5 minutes, where it's like, no, she doesn't.
Yeah, she really doesn't.
Like,
I mean, she says it quite a bit, but it's the kind of thing where I don't remember it
from
never
memory.
feeling natural. I like Bill a lot. She's one of my favorite companions in Doctor Who.
from memory, she says maybe like a handful of times throughout the course of the season, but not like every 5 minutes, like everyone says.
Like in the finale, she goes, "Thank you to the Doctor for accepting that she's into girls," and he goes at SJW, ignoring the fact that Bill can even come out to her foster mum. So
Yeah.
for a group of people to accept her for who she is, that's new to Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's almost like it's in character.
Almost like there's a character reason, yeah. Almost like being not straight is actually hard in the world, no matter what you want to say. Like, people face hardships with that, and they shouldn't, but if they do, it happens. And shows acknowledging that does not mean bad writing or forcing diversity or forcing politics into your show. We've talked for a long time, Jesus. Okay, getting back to the video that we're 53 seconds in.
Is returning, and if there
Christ.
was anything that could fans, yours truly included, it would be Bad Wolf and Russell T Davies coming back. Unfortunately, I think this might be too late, as we did get the ratings for the first season after this announcement of Russell T Davies, and they
Funny thing, it says it's not all bad news though. So even the article he's using is going against his narrative. Like the article name is clearly just clickbait, but even then it's like it's not all bad news. So I think not. I'm making a prediction about this video. Guys, has anyone here watched this video?
I have. That's why I suggested it.
Right, because I thought you would just watch Mr. TARDIS and were like, oh, maybe you should go. Anyway, point being, I think my prediction is he's going to ignore the larger context the article gives and just going to talk about the ratings themselves without, what would make them not be terrible ratings.
Fair enough prediction.
All right.
The lowest season premiere ratings in the history of New Who. And the news doesn't get any better because we did get the ratings in for America, a country that's counted in the past, but it's
Okay.
much
Actually,
more
no, I'll let this
important
play.
now, considering that the BBC has control of the show. And
So, okay. Firstly, this is a rumor, and he's saying it as if it's fact. Nerdvotic likes to do this a lot, and he gets proven a lot wrong a lot, because Nerdvotic's a moron. Secondly, they haven't lost
Oh
control.
yeah, just before we go on. So such as an example of that is if you go to his channel, I'm going there right now to take a screenshot to show the stream. But if you go to his channel, and like you say, he speculates a lot and he reads these articles or just rumors. So what so let me take a screenshot of this video. Here. The title of I forget that I need to
There we go.
hold on. It's loading because I need to get the fuck. Can anyone copy the image address and send it in chat? Because for me it's taking a while to load. Oh, never mind, it loaded. Okay, so this is what I want to show here. So Marvel panic, a Shang-Chi flop could delay the Eternals. So Marvel wasn't panicking. Shang-Chi was a fucking success for Marvel, and Eternals was not delayed. And it actually is making quite a bit of money as well as Shang-Chi. So it's the kind of thing where he just speculates a lot, even though it usually turns out not to be true. But he prefers to stir the pot, and whenever he gets proven wrong, he tries to spin it his own way anyway. And he's like, oh, Hollywood is dying, as opposed to being like, oh shit, I was wrong, I'm retarded. But anyway, what were you saying, Jeff?
So, obviously this is a rumor. Secondly, they haven't given up control of their show. So, imagine, if I put this in game terms, let's say Sony has an IP, and they give it to a different publisher for a deal that's outside their in-house. Now, what they're allowing is that different publisher or different developer to use their product to develop a game, but they still own that IP and they still own that game. It's similar to that as to what's happening. BBC will have all rights over Doctor Who still, will still have final creative control, and will have commercial control. So this is just a rumour mill article that he's misrepresenting anyway, and it's likely not true, because these things don't tend to be true, and there's nothing backing this up.
Yep. I just agree. I have nothing more to add. I am sorry, stream. I have failed you.
more on the international licensing. But let's go to the spin from the BBC.
Fuck's sake. Okay, it skipped for a second for me. Let me just...
More on the international licensing. But let's go ahead to spin from the BBC. Explaining the...
Wait, is this the actual video? Or is
Yes.
it... What? Because I thought it was Watch Together.
National licensing. But let's go ahead and hear the spin from the... Explaining the figures...
What? No, it is skipping. Okay, there is something wrong with Watch Together. Okay.
Of the show and relies more on the But let's go ahead and hear the spin.
What the fuck is happening? Okay, whatever.
From the BBC.
You're not getting a skip.
I am
He
getting a
goes-
skip. It's skipping around different points.
Alright, so to give you context, he went about the international licensing, then he goes, but let's hear the spin from the BBC, and then cut straight to the article.
Okay.
Explaining the figures for Flux's first episode, the BBC's Lizo cannot pronounce your last name, confirmed that although the
I mean, you could have looked it up. I don't know. Whatever.
4.43 million figure is down on the 4.8 figure who tuned in to Spyfall, or more importantly, the people who didn't tune in to Spyfall. It marks
What? It's almost 5 million people. What the fuck are you talking about, Nerdrotic? 5 million people watched Spyfall. What was it? It was a New Year's Day, right? When it came out?
Yeah. We'll get there.
Oh God.
uptick compared to most of, in quotes, season 12's remaining episodes. Wow, they are reaching. As
They aren't. Those are facts. It is an uptick from those episodes, isn't it?
Yes, it's absolute fact. The overnight figures are an uptick compared to the rest of season 12. Now,
Okay.
what's super funny
Which
is
it kind of makes sense, right? That beginning of the season we have more viewers than like as the season trails off, because it's like beginning of kind of a new story in a way.
Yes. In this case, yes. I think for this season you'll get most of the attention because it's serialized, so it's one continuous. But it is funny that he accused BBC of reaching, when we'll explain in a bit why he's reaching in the ratings.
All right.
Flux, and yes, that's what the series is called because they don't want to call it Series 13, but we know what the Flux you're doing is.
What?
6 episode.
What the fuck do you mean?
So,
What are they
so
doing? They
he-
just called it Flux. Flux is the fucking goo thingy. Like, yeah, whatever. Call it whatever you want. It's still Series 13. It doesn't matter.
he's being bad faith. He's trying to assume a bad thing when actually this is all around due to COVID. They couldn't do the full season, so they were like, "What can we do? Okay,
So
we
they're
do a
calling like
serialization."
the arc Flux to serialize it and then be like, including those 3 specials with the series. Is that it?
I don't know if the 3 specials are included with Flux, but
Right.
should continue on. But the thing is, he claims he's a fan of Classic Who, but the stories are serialized. So
And they also always have like an arc name, don't they?
yeah, so like Genesis of Daleks is a multi-part story, and it's like, what's the difference here? What's the problem?
I have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
But we know what the Flux you're doing is a 6 arc rather than a standalone story. There's every chance those numbers could rise, he added, and there's every chance they could fall off a cliff. So how bad were the ratings here in the States? How about abysmal? 339,000 whole people watched Doctor Who on Halloween, and even
Is that bad?
See, this is the thing. I don't know about the US figures, but based on if we would extrapolate from the UK, no.
So
Because
I don't know. So because the UK numbers are pretty high, right? Because like the thing is, 339,000 on Halloween night for America. I'd say that's pretty good when you have something like, I'm using Legion because it's the only thing I know. But Legion, season 3 had lower than 300,000 in terms of ratings for each episode, and FX was willing to continue it if Noah Hawley wanted to. Like that was enough of a success for FX. And this is like some bigger ratings than Legion had for like 1.5 seasons for when Legion got renewed, and the BBC's already having pretty great success in the UK because the numbers in the UK are still really high. So it's just like it seems like it's not that bad in terms of ratings. I don't know.
yeah, I'm being speculatory, but it's like there's also the context as well that US have so much more choice when it comes to TV. They seem to be like the big part of that. So that means a lot of shows will have lower figures than they would in UK. And this kind of issue, he isn't really showing it in a wider context. He's only going to show it in a narrow context.
Yeah.
worse, that key demographic, the number that actors, it was a
Fuck's sakes, it keeps skipping. That's pretty cringe.
1,000 whole people watched Doctor Who on Halloween. And even worse, that key demographic, the number that actually matters, it was a 0.08, meaning that is 0.08% of the 18 to 49 demographic in the United States.
Wait,
112.
Okay, so I don't know why he's so focused on that part being the actual number that matters, because when you're a BBC, you'll have 2 things you'll do. You look at the overall ratings, and whatever number that is, if it's a success, it's a success. It doesn't matter what demographic it is, it's still a success. You then look into the age demographics, the gender as such, so then you know who is it a success to. First, how can we present this show? And then, how can we boost the other numbers? So, 80-49 is low, let's say. for the next season or whatever, they'll try and get more of that audience in and retain the rest of their audience. So the overall ratings still matter, and if you say they don't matter, Nerdrotic, why are you using it against the show? So, I don't know. Contradictory argument, I think.
12,000 people out of that 339,000 people are the ones who actually count. For average
What? What do you mean the ones who actually count?
Yeah, it's just cherry picking for the sake of presenting a worse narrative.
Okay, yeah, this is just strange.
advertisers, the average amount of people who watch a critical drinker 20 minutes. Overall,
Okay, but that's not the same thing though. You're just
Why
cherry
do
picking.
you
It's like,
think-
oh, in America. What?
Why do you bring up Drinker?
It's just like Drinker
so
gets more
confused.
views in 20 minutes than Doctor Who did for its special in America for like the 18 to 49 demographic. It's like, yeah, if you cherry pick, you can definitely make numbers sound more impressive than others. Like, there are more Nick Cage films than there are videos in my channel, probably. It's like, oh, that mean that he works more than me? No, like, you're just cherry picking evidence.
It's like, oh, so should we just ignore that drinker views accounting for the entire world and you're looking at just America? Should we throw in the other
No,
places?
not just
ratings
America.
and
He's
everything?
using just the key demographic he's talking about in America, which is 0.8% or 0.08, whatever, of the actual actually everyone who watched it. It's just super disingenuous as a
It
comparison.
is.
Like,
It really
okay, so
is.
you can say considering American numbers and UK numbers, it was over 5 million. So yeah, over 5 million people watched it overnight, which is more views than PewDiePie gets on a video that he uploads after 24 hours. Which is true. PewDiePie videos usually get like around 2.4 million to 3 million, depending on the topic. So,
Yeah, it's like,
wow, does that mean that Doctor Who's more popular than PewDiePie, even though he has 100 million subscribers? Like, yeah, potentially more people watch it. It's like you can't just cherry pick evidence, showcase it.
yeah, that's my problem. Numbers are very easy to make them mean what you want them to mean. You need to present them in their raw aspect rather than try and allocate your own context onto them.
Yeah.
actually count. For advertisers, the average amount of drinker video in the first 20 minutes. Overall, I thought Doctor Who Flux sucked, but it wasn't the worst Doctor Who episode in the Chibnall first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker era. And
Oh, he does that, doesn't he? I forgot he does that every time he mentions the 13th Doctor.
Yes, he keeps doing that. But I don't-
Hasn't he done this for 3 years now?
Yes,
Yeah,
I don't.
3 years.
Oh,
It's got tiring. It's dead. It's gone.
it's fucking cringe.
I don't know if he talks about rates again, so I'm going to take it that he doesn't. And we're going to explore the ratings at least from the UK. So the number you presented was whatever number it was. I can't remember.
From the UK?
But
It was
yes,
hold on, I think it was 4.35 million.
I thought it was 4.43.
May have been 4.43. Yeah, your memory's better than mine. Shocker.
Okay, so that seems low if you look at it in Doctor Who context from previous premieres, and you would be right. It is the lowest in New Who, but that's not what you look at because it doesn't give you anything about the factors that may have gone into it. So what happens when we expand it to a wider context? So this is all the other programs that are on during Halloween. What are his competitors like, and so forth. Well, it turned out Doctor Who was a huge success in that regard. Ratings UK tweeted out how it had the most audience share for a drama on that week, with 25.9%. I think it might be that. I'm trying to get like where I mentioned it in our chat, but it got the most, and then it was really successful. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Further news that shows Doctor Who Flux was most watched drama in the week it had. Series 13 opener had an overnight of 4.43 million and a 26.9% share. That is great news, especially when Series 12 had a 5% less audience share. So what would that tell us? Well, that would tell us that this year, less people are watching TV overnight, whether that be due to streaming or it being a Halloween week or just partying and that because COVID's wearing off. So that means around all programs, viewership is dropping. So it's not a Doctor Who issue, it's a landscape issue. And despite that, Doctor Who is actually outperforming its previous season on this front. It was also, I believe, the second most watched show altogether, second most watched program across all channels behind Strictly, I think on that day. Which is again huge when you got your soaps, you got other dramas, and Strictly obviously being the most popular, it ranks at so many. So that means, despite having the lowest figures in its landscape, Doctor Who is doing really well success-wise. It's not plummeting, it's not going broke, it's not failing. BBC will be very happy with this right now. This is better than...
It is all contextual, isn't it? It all really
Yes.
depends.
It's all contextual. If you look at it just from a show perspective, you won't get anything out of that because you're not considering all the factors. And as a neurotic all the time will just go compare it to the show, and they'll ignore any wider context to
You can
deliver
just
that
compare
point.
to like an episode from season 1, season 4. Those are like over a decade ago. It's like it's super different now. They're completely different TV landscape.
Yeah, we got streaming being really popular right now.
Yeah,
People are
just the
more,
advent of streaming just completely just shows how different it is.
and you can catch up a lot easier nowadays. You don't need to watch it at the time anymore.
Yes.
What else? What else? What else? And they did this with Series 12. They tried making it make it look really bad. When actually from Series 11 to Series 12 was the same that the RTD era had, which is quite interesting. So for the Series 11 drop, it's like Doctor Who's failing. Well, no, it's going through actually a natural trend that it's always been going through. So, yeah, this era isn't failing. It's the worst era, but it's still a success, which says
In
a lot
terms
about
of
the show.
ratings and yeah. Yeah, it says a lot about how the show can continue to exist and continue to be this big phenomenon, even despite being like and at a point where we're like, yeah, it's the worst it's ever been, but it's still a lot of people watch it.
Yeah, obviously, to get the true value of how it performed, we'll have to wait till Sunday or Monday, which is the +7, which gives time to people to catch up.
And even
And we
then,
should
isn't there
get.
like a 28-day number? I don't remember exactly what it is.
There's also a 28-day one that we tend to look at, but they may look at the 7-day one.
Mhm.
So we don't fully know the picture either. We just know based on the trend in the landscape right now, Doctor Who is successful. It's lower than previous seasons. It's not a flop. It's looking more to be a success. And that 7-day figure should prove that further because it's already got a lead over competitors.
One thing I want to say is because Connor asking chat, I'd be interested to hear what Gary thinks is the worst ones, as in the worst episodes from the Chibnall era. I think he thinks it's Orphan 55 and Timeless Children are the two worst ones. Which I'm not sure I would disagree. Well, I don't think Orphan 55 is the worst, but it's definitely the one I hate the most.
But yeah, I think Times Children's the worst and the one I hate the most.
Yeah, I definitely get one.
But yeah, this is why strong advice: never listen to Nerdrotic or
Yeah, we're not even
as
3 minutes into his
commenting.
video, and there's a lot of misinformation already. It's pretty insane.
Yeah. who I would recommend it for ratings and stuff is Mr. TARDIS. He doesn't have the best reviews, but his standards might be different. That's why.
Oh yeah, and
But-
he constantly says a lot of the time that like it's all subjective anyway, like the subjective quality and shit like that. So it all usually just comes down to him from like in terms of enjoyment. But he is also quite reasonable, as he said. He was watching Jay's video and was like, "Yeah, I agree with this." So it's like, you know,
Yeah,
he can definitely hold a good opinion. And I put his channel in chat because yeah, I recommend you guys check him out. He's a pretty great
And-
content creator.
and he does excellent analysis of rates and such, and he live streams regularly. And his recent one about the disabled actress and the episode, he tore into the erotic. He called him a pathological liar. And the best bit was he said he doesn't get any sexual enjoyment unless he's lying. That's the only way he could climax or something like that.
Yeah, which was also right after he made a joke about getting sexual enjoyment out of like what was it, like Jody
Getting
stepping
beat
on
up.
her or something? Oh yeah, getting beat up. Yeah.
Because they called the two soldiers in the episode non-binary lesbians, and I need to point out one, it's never established they're romantically involved, and their sexual orientation is never mentioned. Two, their gender is never mentioned. Three, they've just stereotyped because they've assumed this based on how they appear.
Which
And
is
four, they
because they
made that
have
sound
like short hair.
short hair.
That's literally the entire reason.
Yeah, and four, they made that seem negative, which is quite honestly transphobic and homophobic. Not great people. I'm not gonna lie, they're pieces of shit, and it's quite frustrating. I'm gonna bring up Mauler here. It's quite frustrating that as a viewer of Mauler to see him more associated with these guys when they blatantly just keep lying and lying. And I'm like, I don't see how Mauler's okay with that or accepted of that to be willing to be on a host of a podcast with them.
It's really weird since he's the one that usually tries to stay away from all that shit on EFAP as well.
Yeah, he's the most apolitical and he likes to remain to objective truths, he says. So this is a very backwards move to side with these two fucking degenerates in life.
Alrighty.
First female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker era, because all they did was introduce characters. Of course, the episode starts out with
That's
an
disingenuous. It didn't just introduce characters. Like, it literally had a universe-ending event with the Flux. Like, that's already just not only introducing characters. So, it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Already. Like, I'm sorry, it just is.
arbitrary countdown clock, because that's what Chibnall does to cause tension. Yaz and the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker.
Well, it's true. Chibnall has a fascination with fucking countdowns. It's a lot of writers will use countdowns to generate tension because it's such an easy way. Now, what is the issue in this scene, though, Roddick? If you were a good critic, you'd be questioning why hasn't he just killed them already?
Yeah, that is the question. It's like, oh, if you try to escape, we're gonna kill you. But if you don't try to escape, then we're gonna kill you.
Yeah, and especially when he goes, "We have kill discs that can shoot you," and I'm like,
Then shoot.
"Yeah, or just drop him in the acid." Okay.
Whittaker are in a little trouble, but when they get out in the TARDIS on a bed, a double bed in the console room, and you can hear the
Are you You're fucking kidding me, right, Narcotic? It was the TARDIS fucking making their fall not as hard. There was a net and they fell on the bed as opposed to hitting the fucking floor, the hard floor, because it's
The
floor.
bed was used
Floor is
to
made of
cushion
floor.
the fall.
Yeah, no,
It
I'm.
was used to.
No, it should have been two different beds, two twin beds, Tim. You can't. Oh my
Yeah.
fucking Christ! Already, really?
They need to be separate.
Fucking, with all the things you could pick apart in that scene, skip all of it and just go to the fucking bed, really?
Yes, but it's implied that they're together, so this should be.
Politics rot the brain.
It does.
That,
the TARDIS.
That's how far he's gone to complain about SPW. To complain about SJWs. He's bitching about a bed.
On a bed, a double bed. In the you can hear the shippers squee. Unfortunately, I think that's all you're gonna get. But this was a historic moment. This is what Chris Chibnall set out to do. This was
Start.
a penisless TARDIS.
Dan
But the
literally.
penis is
Dan-
introduced.
Dennis literally joins the team in this episode. Are you actually brain dead? What?
What? Why is firstly? Why is it the gender? Why do you think Chibnall has decided agenda to have all female crew when one, he's literally never had that, and two, that's never been proven. And then there's the fact you wouldn't say this if this was an all male crew. So what makes this different? And yeah, Dan fucking gets introduced in this episode. And it wasn't even. This is speculation, but I don't think it was Chibnall's choice that Bradley Walsh and Tosa Cole left, because Bradley Walsh had his game shows and his own show, so he was very much busy and couldn't do commitments, and Tosa Cole was looking at other projects based on the rumours. So it seemed to be their choice to leave. Hence why Yaz probably stayed, because the actress still wanted to be there.
Yeah, but
My god.
no. Fuck you.
Jesus Christ.
So you know when a 10-year-old is telling you a story or a full-grown adult on Twitter, they go, and then. That's exactly what this episode was. And
I agree with this, to be honest. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
and then something happens, and then it's like there's no connective tissue. It just happens.
I agree, but did he
We're
have to
introduced-
use that fucking image of a feminist from 2015? Did he have to
I
use
mean,
that?
everyone uses it. Yeah. It's just kind of thing you gotta just deal with. It's like, yeah, every fandom menace retard uses it at this point.
It's funny because one of the Fandom Menace people reminds me of this person anyway.
Oh yeah, Mech Random 42, whatever.
Yeah.
the fuck's just called. Jeez.
Fucking, I pressed play and it didn't press play.
then that's exactly
say.
what this episode was. And then Joseph Williamson, a philanthropist, historical figure known for digging random holes. And in this episode, he's digging random holes. And then we meet the new
That would
companion.
be true.
So he's true, but I want to. So it's not in this video. Mr. Tard is this video. He listened to the snippet of their live stream. Did you know him and Az said that character and the other character were depicted as villains?
Ah, yes, the
Why-
villains where they just talk to one
Huh.
another for a minute
Ow.
and then they never show up again. Clearly villains.
They went as white bad guys or whatever, and the show doesn't present them this way at all. And in fact, even praises Williamson for giving the guys work, saying it's something begin with Al. So yeah, he just assumed they were depicted as villains, just like in Fugitive to Doom, where Balstrek said the creepy guy was a villain, and Neurotic was like, yeah, he was. No, he wasn't.
Yeah, and there was something else in that call. What's her name?
I don't know, but she was agreeing, even though I don't think she had the contacts.
Well, I think you just watched the episode, but yeah.
Dan, who apparently is kind of a loser and gives tours at the Liverpool Museum, even though he doesn't work there. And then we meet Diane.
I wouldn't call Dan a
who
loser.
actually-
No, that's
Oh, he's gonna talk
unfair.
about Diana.
How
Okay.
is he a loser? He seems like a stand-up
Well,
guy.
I
and
think
all
what he
that.
means in
How
terms
is
of
that a
loser is just in life he's like he didn't get like a good hand dealt for him, so he's quite poor and but he's still trying to help and trying to be good for the people who live in his city, which I think is pretty neat in terms of character for Dan. But he's quite poor and shit like that.
That's not a good look, no, Roddick. You call poor people losers by the sounds of it.
I mean,
Like-
it's the kind of thing where, like, I think he means, like, yeah, he's not in the best situation. He's a loser in terms of, like, life dealt him that hand, but he's trying to make the best out of it. I don't know, I'm trying to be charitable here because, I don't know.
Well,
It's not the
the
word
thing
I
is-
would use, but,
thing is, we actually broke down Dad's life. He has a romantic interest, positive.
yeah.
He's doing what he loves, positive. I think the downside is his business, and I hope it's tied to COVID, because that would be a neat way to have him have dealt a bad hand in finance.
Mm.
But yeah, it's only finance he seems to be going down on.
Yeah, it seems people like him and everyone kind of knows about him, such as the guy going like, "Yeah, I heard you had sweets," so it's like, which doesn't make sense, but still, it kind of just makes sense that like everyone knows about him, like around this where he lives. So I don't know. Seems like he's a great guy. He's just poor, but he couldn't possibly own a laptop, right?
Oh yeah, that was what. Oh, I can't believe they made that insane logical leap.
Yeah, you guys are gonna see that on Sunday once I upload the extra, but it's hilarious.
And gives tours at the Liverpool Museum there. And then we meet Diane, who actually works at the museum, his date for that evening. And then two non-binary security guards release.
There we go.
Two non-binary security. So yeah,
Never
non-binary
established being
because
non-binary.
actually, let me. I think Saoirse Ronan, short hair. I'm pretty sure I can find a picture where she has like pretty much the same hair as the person on the right. Shit, I can't find. Scarlett Johansson. Short hair.
Mrs. TARDIS used what's her name? The actress for
I imagine Terminator Dark Fate. But yeah. Wow, see? Scarlett Johansson, this non-binary lesbian. How dare she have short hair? You see?
Yeah, the lesbian part was said on stream, but yeah, non-binary. There's nothing to prove they're non-binary. He's made it up, and he's made it to look bad to his audience. And again, at this point, this is when you kind of become a pretty shitty person, to be honest. This isn't you just make a bad argument, this is you being a piece of shit. And deliberately lying to your audience and lying to people so you can get on one-up because you didn't like this show. Which is Nerdronic's motto, and he always has been. He's always been dishonest. I've never liked him. Because of that. So yeah, that's why it's again frustrating. That Mauler's gotten closer with Nerdronic, who's a known liar.
Yeah. And like Hetatron's saying, I care more about the really bad dialogue than anything else in the scene, which is like, yeah, this person here asks, yo, what we doing here really? As opposed to knowing why she was teleported here. It's weird. I don't get it.
Oh, as also said, and it was quite new, he didn't realise the black woman, I can't remember her name, he didn't realise that was a woman. He thought it was a
yeah,
dude.
I thought it was a dude, because we just, yeah.
Again, on their live stream.
Yeah, so like until she spoke, I thought she was a dude.
Mega oofs from those two clowns.
Our villain, who I had to look up on we meet Carvanista, a dog man who abducts
sake,
Dan.
okay.
And then we meet
I hate this fucking skipping around what
museum,
does.
his date for that evening. And then two non-security guards release our villain, who I had to look up on IMDb. And then we meet Carvanista.
Okay.
They literally said the villain's name in the episode.
Yeah, I don't understand why you had to look it up on IMDb. And if that is an issue, it's like, yeah, I forgot his name. It happens. Like, yeah. I don't know. There are characters in fucking Mr. Robot, a show that I've seen like 3 times that I forget the name sometimes. It's fine.
I like to think that he was too busy reading over the apparent non-binaries. He just didn't catch the name being Swarm.
Yeah. Oh, hey, today marks 17 years since The Incredibles came out. That's nice. That's a good film.
Oh boy.
Beast.
Yes.
A dog man who abducts Dan. And then we meet John in the Arctic Circle. And then we meet Claire, who knows the doctor, but the doctor doesn't know her. And then a weeping angel appears and abducts Claire. And then we meet Vinder on Outpost Rose. And then a couple of classic Sontarans show up. And then we find out our mysterious villain, whose name I had to look up on IMDb, has...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
You're really gonna repeat that until the end of the fucking episode video? Jesus. Do you think it does
Yeah.
it for runtime? Because the video's like 10 minutes and 46 seconds. As we all know, getting the video to 10 minutes and 1 second is the ideal for having an extra mid-rolls in your video and for watch time.
I wouldn't be surprised that he does this to pad out his videos.
Mm.
But it's also worth noting I know why he's sending and then to show it's been jumped around, and I agree. But he's elaborating on any of it. Like,
Well,
it's
I assumed he was going to elaborate later.
Wow.
Well, if he
I don't think he does. I don't think he does. But to prove why just going many things happen is inherently bad is a poor argument. Stolen Earth jumps to so many different things. The point is they all have relevance to the main narrative, and there's a narrative logical through line. This episode there isn't with 1820s Liverpool. Cut that scene, nothing changes. It has no impact on the plot, and it doesn't really develop any characters in the episode. It's just there. The Sontarans does nothing, doesn't develop anything. It just gives an explanation why the Sontarans there, but you can have that in episode 2.
Yeah. Could have been the opening
Claire,
scene of episode 2, and then we cut to the title sequence.
yep, Claire isn't needed in her entire scene because it has no bearing on the main plot. It's just a random moment.
And if her scene wasn't there, the Weeping Angel scene, the episode would have been a lot better off, because that scene is fucking garbage.
And that's kind of the point being made. It's like there's these many detours the episode takes that have no bearing on the plot or development of the characters within the episode. So they don't have a function, thus they need to be removed. Or adjusted.
Yeah.
Known the Doctor all along, but the Doctor doesn't know him. And then our mysterious villain, whose name I had to look up on IMDb,
Fuck's sake.
attacks John and Anna in the Arctic Circle. And then John dies because he's a disposable white guy. And then we find
What the-
Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah, he does die, but he makes it out like it's a political issue.
Oh, yeah,
forgetting that
yeah. It's the scene where we realize that she's like his sister or something, right?
Yeah, and he just forgets that one of the lead characters in this episode is a white male who is at least romantically interested in women.
Who's also white. But she's disabled, so 0 out of 10.
Yeah, it's like you again just applied buzzwords to try and generate a psychological effect to your audience, who are a bunch of bootlickers. So, you know, you do you, Nerdrotic, you disingenuous cunt.
out Anna is actually the sister of the unknown villain name I had to look up on IMDb. And then she
The unknown villain that you called Swarm in the episode just because your brain cells can't.
And it was in all
You know.
of the marketing.
Yeah, just because your brain cells can't pick up that fast and erotic, you're too busy crying about disabled people.
Now I understand
And
why
not-
he thinks Legion Season 3 is bad. His brain can't comprehend when good writing exists. Or when writing exists. It doesn't even have to be good. Just things exist in front of him. He's like, wait, what's happening now?
Remember when Fando, the degenerate, defended this faggot? Oh my god.
That was a fun
Oh,
time to
no.
exist, yeah.
Oh, you brought his kids in it. Well, I'd be disappointed to have him as my father. What are you gonna do about that one? Cancel me, I don't give a
Imagine
shit.
being married to Gary, dude. Jesus.
Yeah.
name I had to look up on IMDb. And then she turns villain whose name I had to look up on IMDb. And then we find out the Flux is a storm destroying the entire fabric of time and space.
Yeah.
And then the worst news comes of all. We find out this has something to do with the Division, which of course is baked into the Timeless Children storyline. You know, the thing that killed Doctor Who.
I don't think it killed Doctor Who, but sure. I mean, it really did ruin a lot in terms of stakes and a lot of shit like that. But killing Doctor Who, I think, is a bit of a stretch because Doctor Who has come back from a lot of terrible shit, such as Hellbent being fucking garbage and Series 10 actually being good. It's just like, I don't know.
He does forget that the show was literally cancelled back in the 80s.
Right. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
after
the
26
Wilderness
seasons,
Years.
then it came back in 2005. After also a TV movie, right? So it's I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, I like how he's doing the and then, but he's doing it in the wrong order as well, which is really bugging me because we find out it's related to the Division pretty early on in the episode. When the swarm breaks out, I think the soldier mentions the Division. Yeah, she does, and that's how we know. So even the logical progression with the and thens is wrong.
Yeah.
No, there were some holding out hope that the Flux would timeless children, and while that still
Was there? I think we all knew it was going to continue from Timeless Children. I saw no reason not to.
Anyone who thought it would fix, you are naive or you're dumb. Which one?
Yeah.
killed Doctor Who. I know there were some holding out hope that the Flux would fix the timeless children, and while that still could happen, I highly doubt it. If the
Yeah, I don't
timeless
know why it
children
would.
was the last Jedi of Doctor Who, then the Flux
I don't know. I think I think it's worse than The Last Jedi in terms of history. It runs more.
Um, it's in terms of impact on a piece of media, The Last Jedi is worse, but in terms of damage in its own show, I'd say the Timeless Children is worse. Because Doctor Who could recover from Timeless Children, but that's due to the nature of the show.
Mhm.
Star Wars could have really recovered from The Last Jedi.
Well,
Because of its
from
nature.
going through its like main franchise, it couldn't. But if it like spins off and shit like that, it's easy. Which I guess
Yeah.
is the difference. Is that the mainline Star Wars films are kind of ruined now. Well, I don't really 100% agree now because I think if you could definitely make a like an episode 10 that still tells a good story from after the First Order has been beaten.
Well, actually, yeah, because what you want to do, any issues you find, like in terms of world building, such as the kamikaze thing, you can make it like forgotten technology during the wars,
Yeah, as
and
long as
then you just
you could
explain how.
advance it in time, or you could have certain explanations. Like, regardless of the explanation in the Rise of Skywalker being bad, they also say that it's a 1 in a million chance, which then means it's like, why would we do it then?
And you could also make the argument that because it seems so unbelievable, partially due to low odds, it became like a myth in the same way Luke did.
Yeah, and all you'd have to do to justify that is have enough time pass, more than it passes between fucking the Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, because that's retarded. They wouldn't become myths in that time.
Yeah. So honest. Well, it's the kind of thing. I think everything can be kind of solved. Well, just look at Eternals. It deals with a lot of what the MCU has established so far. It deals a lot with that in terms of world building and character conflicts are relating to that. Like, such as why didn't the Eternals try to help during all the crises that Earth has gone through? And that's kind of the main conflict of the film. So you can definitely do good stuff from like bad things that have happened in the universe. So I don't know. I think you could still tell a good story in Star Wars, same way you can tell with the Doctor Who.
Yeah, I mean, no said it best. Doctor Correct can't decanonized and so forth, whereas Luke's character's pretty much ruined.
Yeah. I mean, unless they make a film that informs Luke's decision, but it's kind of like, you know.
Too late, to be
And I
honest.
don't think they're gonna do that, considering what the path they're going down with Mando. It seems like they're just going to like, let's just kind of ignore the sequel trilogy. It's weird. I don't like Star Wars.
is the rise of Skywalker of Doctor Who. This episode was nothing but a giant mystery box and Chibnall trying to do his best Stephen Moffat imitation. What's mystery box storytelling? Simply put, it's more of an emphasis on the mystery than the actual resolution.
That's not a mystery box.
That is not what mystery box is. And mystery boxes aren't even inherently bad, so because like I'm watching Lost, and there are quite a few mysteries which are quite interesting. The characters trying to figure out the mysteries, but like the show's pretty great so far. I'm like halfway, first quarter of season 5, and it's like, I don't know, like you can still just establish a lot of mysteries that are going to be resolved throughout the show, and it be done in very satisfying ways. I don't know. This seems strange to just say like. I do agree that Stephen Moffat used mystery boxes a lot, which is kind of to the detriment of a few of his series, such as with the Impossible Girl thing and Series 7, which kind of like fucked a lot with that. I don't know. And the hybrid in season 9.
Yeah, a mystery box is basically a thing that is a mystery that you get given details over time or becomes revisited in some regard.
Yeah, which isn't inherently bad. You can just set up a mystery. Like Legion season, well, all seasons of Legion, but especially 1 is like just mystery box galore. And like we don't figure out exactly what it is until episode 5 when we get an idea, and then episode 7 explains exactly what it is, what the mystery is. And then we finally get the resolution. But even then, there's still more mystery should come from David's past and lineage, because he well, if you know from the comics, he's David is Charles Xavier's son. So yeah.
I do love as well. He goes, they put more emphasis on the mystery than the resolution, and I think the thing is that's probably going to happen because the mystery needs to be functional for the resolution to therefore be functional. So
I
you
mean,
put a
yeah,
lot
you
more
need to
effort
put
into
all
that.
the pieces together, and when the resolution happens, like, oh, everything makes sense now, and you don't need to put a lot of. I guess kind of like the Bad Wolf one, right? Because the resolution isn't like we kept seeing, oh shit, there's a lot of Bad Wolf, and it's like, oh, this is the resolution. Like, this is why it's written. The reason why the Bad Wolf was written all throughout the universe wasn't because it wasn't the focus of it, which was kind of the resolution. It was just, oh, this is why, and you just connect it in your head. And I guess the kind of big thing that was like how the Bad Wolf thing related to, destroying the Daleks and rescuing everyone and making Captain Jack immortal.
In the same way that in Series 4, the mystery box of why all the planets kept disappearing and the bees.
Oh yeah, the bees thing. That was great. I was remember the Doctor saying, actually, I don't know why everyone talks about the bees. And it's like later on, he's like, the bees! And he remembers and everything comes together. That was awesome.
And then the vote Saxon stuff.
Yeah. The Saxon stuff is really just drip fetch you throughout the season. Then when you come back, it's like, oh shit, that's awesome. Such a good mystery.
And You Are Not Alone. It's like, there's a lot.
Yeah. Point being, RTD is good at mysteries. That is what this tangent became.
Yes.
An unreliable narrator or underdeveloped characters put in random situations, which leads to a lot of online theories and speculation, generally resolved with a contrived deus ex machina. Some writers can pull it off, most can't. With the return of Russell T Davies combined with what I've seen from Flux, the BBC has gone right up to, but just short of, admitting failure.
I mean, it's just not true, but okay. Like, it's not admitting failure to be like, yo, the Chibnall's leaving. If we approach RTD, he's gonna want to come back, and he does. It's like, oh, that's good. We like RTD. He's written good episodes. Like, I don't think it's admitting failure.
Also, you can't go they're admitting failure, but continue with the storyline that you're claiming is causing the failure.
True, if they were actually admitting failure, there'd be studio interference to have Chibnall rewrite it so that it doesn't actually talk about the Timeless Child anymore. So it's just, yeah, this is just weird. Not only that, giving an entire season and 3 specials for this writer that you presumably killed the show. Okay.
And not just any event for one of the specials, the 100th anniversary of the studios.
Yeah.
Well, company. So, yeah, stop being retarded now, Roddick.
Timeless Children is a deal breaker, and most of the fandom isn't coming back unless that is completely retconned. And
okay, I don't think BBC cares, honestly. I don't think it's a large enough number for them to care. I will say, I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, but I forgot. So let's move on.
even if it is retconned, you're not going to get everyone back. This is the.
Oh yeah, what I was gonna say. I remember. The one thing that I actually kind of like from Halloween Apocalypse is that it actually acknowledges the Timeless Child twist being a big deal, because it is, as opposed to Revolution, with like just kind of ignored it. She was like, oh, I spent 19 years dealing with it, and now I'm fine. And then Tozenko was like, yo, you're angry. She's like, yeah, I'm angry. And that was it. Like, Halloween Apocalypse at least tried to integrate it into its story, which I assume is going to have some impact into the Doctor's character. Whether it's good or not, I don't care. But it's at least doing something as opposed to just hand-waving it away, as Revolution did. Which is, or better than Revolution. So, you know, I am praising this episode now. Look at me.
Also, I'd like you to prove how much of the audience is left due to Timeless Children twist, because it's a deliberately hard thing to prove, but he's making the claim. As we've established, the ratings drop isn't due to the show; it's due to the landscape. So it seems to indicate the casual audience is the problem, not the fan base. The fan base is still quite big and still thriving, which I could attest to. I'm always talking to people about Doctor Who, like every day now. And yeah, Andrew's right. I think there's other things fans care about other than just the Doctor's history. And there's so many fans of this choice in this era. If you call Time's Children the Last Jedi, inherently you're gonna have loads of fans of that.
Yeah, The
You
Last
should
Jedi has a lot of fans.
yeah, you should know this, Nadronic. So
Yeah, he's been talking about these people who defend The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker for years now.
Portion of the video where we go to the people and Rotten Tomatoes, and with the audience score, the story remains the same.
isn't it funny how they use Rotten Tomatoes to selectively poo certain things
Mm.
and then go, oh, Rotten Tomatoes is unreliable when it comes to other things.
Oh yeah, they say that they manipulate scores, such as The Rise of Skywalker being at 86% for a huge portion of the time, which is weird. I would concede that it is weird how long the Rise of Skywalker was at 86% tomato score, but at least I'm consistent with saying number scores are irrelevant, whether they be from audience or critics. So
Genesis just asked a question. Whether the Doctor knows that they have a limited regeneration, because if surely she'll sacrifice there's a fatal danger now. See, the thing is, like, everyone goes on about her having infinite regenerations, but I always interpreted as once they found out how to regenerate,
they limited
they
her.
did. Yeah, because they state they limited all the other Time Lords. Why
Well,
wouldn't they do it to
I think
her?
they didn't do it to her because of the way it was worded in Timeless Child, but I guess we'll see. But I don't think she would like sacrifice herself because it's still dying for her is still painful and having to change. So I don't know. I don't think she would do that unless it was like a last resort to a point where that's what the Doctor always does, like sacrificing as last resort, such as saving Wilf in End of Time and shit like that. So I don't think it's
Yeah,
gonna change much anyway if she does have infinite regenerations.
I just always took it as she doesn't have infinite regenerations because one, if they limited all the other ones, they have to limit her.
Mhm.
And two, I don't think they would allow the Doctor to run amok with infinite regenerations.
I
So
guess it depends
best
on
faith.
how they built the mystery surrounding like her old universe and shit like that. Yeah, we
Yes.
can't be sure of that until they actually confirm it. So
Yeah, I think I'd be a best faith for it because I'm
Mm.
like, well, if you're able to limit, um, and you don't want this infinite regenerated Time Lord across time and space, it kind of makes sense to limit it.
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, yeah, we shall see. I guess. I imagine Chibnall probably won't get into it, and RTD will have a definitive answer because that's just more like RTD to do to establish like yes, this is how it works. Because if you don't, then like the stakes are kind of fucked. Like even if the if in Chibnall's mind she doesn't have infinite regenerations, it's good to know so we understand the stakes.
Yes.
Doctor Who Series 11 is at 20%, Doctor Who Series 16%, and Doctor Who Series 13, The Flux, is at 32%. From one
Wait, was that? Hold on. Shit, I think it may have
story
come back
remains
before.
the
True,
same,
much.
Doctor Who
I wanna see
Series
something real
11 is
quick.
at 20%, Doctor Who Series 12 is at 16%,
16%?
and Doctor Who Series 13, The
40 ratings. There's literally 40 ratings. I did read that right. This is nothing. This is based on nothing. This isn't even 100 people. This means literally nothing, Nerdrotic. Really? 40 people said this is... Out of 40 people, 32% is how much? Like a third. It'd be like 39. It's 13 people. So 13 people said the episode was good, and fucking 27 people said it was bad. And that's your basis for going, see, everyone hates it. It's fucking absurd. How can you base that off 40 people? We can even see the general audience doesn't like it because this isn't representative.
Yeah.
This is such a small number. It's like, you go around I go around my street and ask people who live here whether they like the new episode of Doctor Who or not. If literally every single one of them saw, I'm probably gonna get a bigger number than this Rotten Tomatoes number. This 40 people who said it. Jesus, this is absurd. Okay, Nerdrotic, you're a moron.
Flux is at 32%. From 1 hour ago, Richard A., half star. More terrible acting and storytelling from a corpse of a franchise. Once the winner of so many awards, now struggling with viewing figures.
As we've already said, it's not struggling with viewing figures, but, you know. The rest is right. It's terrible acting and storytelling, and hopefully RTD will save the show. That's it.
But the thing is, and it'll get set up further. He's cherry picking what reviews to fit his narrative, because he's literally covered all these topics in this video, and the first one he picks conveniently is, you know, this one.
I mean, I don't even know if there's enough to cherry pick because it's 40 reviews.
And I'm actually going to check if the show has won awards whilst doing Series 12.
Oh, and I'm gonna check on Rotten Tomatoes what the score is right now because I can guarantee it's more than 40%, more than 40 people who have watched it.
Okay, so BAFTA Wales Place Awards, it won Best Editing, but it got nominated for Best Director for Spyfall Part 2, Critics' Choice Super Awards, Best Actress in a Science Fiction Fantasy Series, Jodie got nominated. We're pending for Best Science Fiction Television Series by Saturn Awards. It was nominated for Best Family Drama TV Choice Awards, and it's pending for Best Dramatic Presentation Short Form for the Hugo Awards with Vinay Patel, Chris Chibnall for Future of Teacher 2. So, it has won an award. What about Series 11? Series 11...
Okay, Doctor Who.
Series 11 won one award with a Visionary Arts Organisation Award. Television Show of the Year, Rosa won, but it got nominated for quite a few.
So,
Include Best Science Fiction Television Series, Best Actress, Best Performance, Best Family Drama, and so forth. Now your turn, Marcus.
sorry, yeah. So, I found the ratings, and with almost 3 times as much, the ratings have actually gone up. But the idea is, this is more representative because it's like 3 times as many people have watched it. But it's still, even then, I wouldn't say it's that much because it's only 120 people as opposed to like the thousands of people we were just talking about in the like just the entire season for Series 12. So still, I wouldn't say it is representative. But the idea being that this is more representative of actually is because it's like 3 times as many people, and it shows how Nerdrotic was just like picking, oh, it's already low, I don't care how many people have actually given the rating. It's super disingenuous to just go when there are 40 people. Even when there are 120 people, you need way more people to actually get a representative number of what the general audience actually thinks. Which even then, the general audience isn't going to give ratings on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb. This is like only the people who are actually invested in the show would do something like that. Like, most people don't know what IMDb or Letterboxd or Rotten Tomatoes are. So
this just gets funnier with what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at the Doctor Who awards cross seasons. The last one where you could go, quite a few have won, was Series 7. We included NTAs, but Series 8 to 10 only won 2 awards in each season. Series 11 to 12 won 1 award, so it's only gone down by one award, obviously, which means that Doctor Who hasn't been this multi-award winning show success of so many awards since 2013. And there's no way they're going that far back with it being a corpse of a franchise, probably.
yeah. Oh shit, yeah, Medvican said apparently a small college class is indicative of what most people think of Flux. Which, yeah, my college class is at least 60 people, so, you know, if I ask them, I'll probably get a better number. I know it's called Nerdrotic, but is that background necessary? You know, you spend your money how you want, you know? He's a hoarding man-child, indeed. Okay, come on, we can do this. We're almost... Well, not all that close, but we're getting close to the end of the video.
RTD will save the show. Matt J, 1 star. Plot was convoluted with pacing all over the...
He's just going to read out, so we might as well just look at it for ourselves.
Okay. Things felt rushed, particularly with character introductions and introducing the viewer to plot points. I agree with all of this so far. It's bad dialogue with characters leaving cheesy, hammy lines and not really adding to what is being shown. I agree. There's a specific one that
Yep.
got me really upset. I can't remember what it is, but you see when I upload the extra. John Bishop's character provided a good comic relief and was one of the few good points of the show. Hey, completely agree again. Interactions involving his character felt fresh and was genuinely enjoyable. I agree. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty okay. The show also had issues with audio balancing, particularly at the end of the episode where the score overpowers the dialogue. I did somewhat notice that. It was weird, but I thought it was just a choice as opposed to just being like I don't know, they wanted the score to overtake it because of it being like a bombastic moment. I don't know.
Yeah, I took it as a choice.
So, but yeah, I kind of agree with all of this. So
That
Nice.
review's
Things felt
better.
rushed,
It is.
particularly with character
More than
introductions,
once, because it's at least
the
talking about
viewer
that
to
being
plot
a
points.
positive.
There was bad dialogue, with characters delivering cheesy, genuinely enjoyable. I would say John's performance was capable at best, but comparing it to the rest of Chibnall Who, that's award-winning. Todd B, half star for
Okay, the writing was bad. This complete disjointed mess. The writing was bad, the acting was worse. Not to mention, after Todd's child, the entire series makes no sense. Doctor's not Time Lord. Firstly, we don't know how this entire series will play out, despite Todd's children. Secondly, the Doctor is a Time Lord. The Doctor is not Gallifreyan. Time Lord is a society that the Doctor formed. Key distinction.
Yeah, it takes away from the madman in a box kind of thing, but it's like it's
Yes.
It's not like it doesn't make sense. It's just it changed the context for what happened previously, I guess. Like there's still a lot of the series that does make sense with this. I don't know.
from 4 hours ago. This was a complete mess. The writing was bad. The acting was worse. Not to mention, after The Timeless Child, the entire series makes no sense. The Doctor is not a Time Lord. That is technically true because the Time Lords appropriated their power from the little portal baby. Barry F.
That is not technically true. Doctor's still a Time Lord. They still got integrated into society. It doesn't matter whether they... By this logic, Rassilon's not a Time Lord, because... nor is Omega, because they did the founding aspects of Time Lord society and they took it from them.
Like,
no, they're still Time Lords.
Yeah.
Like, if you founded the Soul thing, does that make you not part of the thing? Like,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
like the
weird
founding
as fuck.
fathers of America, are they not American by this logic?
That's yeah. They're not part of the
This-
Republic.
This review just gets worse. So this is basically a lot of these are just, again, this is what I think is cherry picking, pushing the narrative, and a lot of it's misinformation because Nerdvolic's a pathological liar. But this review says better than bad, but still not good. I would love to hope that the series improves. At least the Committee for Inclusion and Diversity that has dominated previous seasons are quieter.
What?
Chibnall, the writers committee have done so much damage, it's almost impossible to recover from these wounds.
Okay. I have no idea what he means here.
What committee? Like, do you want a source? Because I don't know if you realise, Doctor Who's always been, I would say always been diverse. Doctor Who has been pretty diverse pre-Chibnall, and it's
Yeah.
been improving in that regard.
RTD especially, but Moffat's era is a lot as well.
Yup.
Like they had
Like-
that interspecies lesbian romance. So I don't know.
Yeah, Jenny and Vastra. So that was Moffat. Chibnall. Also, I wouldn't say it's been quieter either, given Yaz has a bigger role. There's a disabled love interest. The working class or below the poverty line is a big focus in terms of Dan's character.
Mhm.
So even then, I would say it's quieter.
Yeah.
And it hasn't dominated previous seasons. I'm trying to think how Race has. Rosa was obviously focused on it, but then Doctor Who Series 10 had Thin Ice. And they both were incorporated into the story. Thin Ice did it better, but
Thin Ice is good. From memory at least. I like that episode.
sexuality, Doctor Who Series 10 has been more political than Doctor Who Series 11 and 12.
Yeah.
And these people to my knowledge, would find Doctor Who Series 10 better, despite it being more of that in this stuff, which means it can't be this stuff they don't really take issue with.
All right. So
Yes, 1.5 stars. Better than bad, but still not good. That will be my assessment. I would love to hope that the series improves. At least the Committee for Inclusion and Diversity that has dominated previous seasons are quieter. Chibnall, the writers, and the committee have done so much damage it seems almost impossible to recover from these wounds. David R. from 14.
So Unknown said it is pretty horrible. Only good scene was the Sontaran scene. I disagree. I don't think that scene was that good because of how they prolonged the disgusting joke. But good scene, for example, is when Dan's in his house and he's looking for food, and we get so much character from just showing how his life is. Or what else is a good scene? When Dan is confronting the Carvanisa while he's in his cage.
I mean, I'm
That's a
saying
good
that is a
scene.
good scene. Like the dance from Dan's side, it's good. From Karen's, it's like he's weird.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
being kind of dumb, and then after we learn what his motivation was, then it becomes worse because it's like if that makes no sense what you did. Though I guess that's kind of like retroactively ruin it, so it wouldn't put it like on that scene alone. But you know,
The definitively good scene is that when he
Yeah.
goes home and sees he hasn't got food. The Sontaran scene was not needed. It did have elements that are like, okay, yeah, these are Sontarans. These are elements I expect. It's just that disgusting thing got prolonged a bit, and it just felt stilted.
and the delivery was not great. I think. Well, I think it's just the issue where like they put out their tongues for no reasons, like right after like yes, we're gonna have fucking battle, bloodshed. It'll be awesome. It's like okay.
Yeah,
It's a bit
it felt like a reference to the Time Warrior, where when you first see the Sontaran, it's sticking its tongue out.
much. But
In and out.
really forced. So, which was the issue.
Probably my least favorite scene in Holy Podcast is probably the Arctic scene. I can see why. Mine is the Weeping Angel in the street, the whole Blink scene, because Weeping Angel shouldn't even be in the street because it's in public view of everyone. The lady literally blinks during the scene twice.
Well, twice other than the one time that the show actually acknowledges it.
Yep. She's a complete fucking retard. The angel is deliberately slow. The only way this could be justified is if it's damaged in some form, but it didn't look damaged from her parents.
And it was
She chose.
was it you, Tin, who pointed it out that it wasn't even looking like through its hands to like peek or anything like that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was maybe like the only reason they put their eyes up was just to not look at each other. Because like if they look at each other in the eyes, then they can't, then they're fucked. But if like
there's
there's
no
only
other
one
weeping angels there.
it's one angel, so it putting the eyes up is just there's no need.
It's
just
using the iconic iconography. That's, it's using the iconography without understanding what made it iconic.
Yeah. And that combined with the don't blink thing, you can see
it's
what
really
Chibnall was doing.
it's the nostalgia bait at that point.
I just like how she blinks at the end for no reason, and it's meant. And I'm like, why are you blinking? Oh, and then there's the fact that she has a wide open street and she chooses to go to a house where it's really narrow.
Like literally just start walking backwards while looking at the angel, which means you gain distance from the angel. And if you do actually want to start running away, the angel is gonna have to follow you. And if that's the case, you're gonna put the angel in more danger of being spotted because there are gonna be more people in the if you start running through the streets of Liverpool is where she lives, I guess. So
yeah.
Yep.
And if you want to use the defense issues panic, despite being in a quote unquote panic, she seemed very prepared to know what to do against the angel.
Yeah.
Do we think the angel episode would be better or worse than Angel Saint Man? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it would be better. The Angel Saint Man hand is completely broken, so it's hard to be worse. But Chibnall's possible doing that, but it's got Alderton, who did Villa Diodati, so I don't know.
Yeah, so I expect it to be the best episode, actually. Just because it has her writing it. The best of Flux, I mean.
Yeah.
hours ago, half star. Sorry, not enjoying you anymore, and wish it was otherwise. We all do. Juan P, half star from 23 hours ago. I can't wait for Chibnall to.
Gee, okay, can we just skip this? This is so cringe. It's like, yeah, he's reading reviews and not adding anything to it. Okay.
With a very thoughtful 2.5 stars. To be fair.
Okay. To be fair, it wasn't all that bad, but I think that Chibnall has lost his way a bit. When he took over as showrunner, he had his own ideas about in what direction he wanted to take the show. I totally disagree with it, and so did a lot of others. But they were his ideas, and he had a good crack at it. Obviously, aware of the criticism, he seemed to throw everything against the wall to see what sticks. So now we have this fan-servicing wannabe epic, another universe-ending story with as many classic monsters as he can stuff in it. Also, to me, Chibnall seems to have a stilted writing style. The dialogue is unnatural. Speaking of unnatural, I just can't get past Jodie's actions and the weird expressions on her face. I've tried. Hopefully things will pick up with episode 2. I think this seems pretty fair, yeah.
The only bit I disagree with is the part when it goes into another universe ending story with many classic monster secret stuff in it, because series 12 wasn't universe ending and started with classic monsters. Series 11 obviously wasn't, so this is the first time he's doing it.
In terms of, wait, another universe-ending story. Yeah, I think, yeah, either that's bad wording because he meant to say another story with as many classic monsters as he can stuff in it, or it's just a misconception of what the stakes were in previous seasons.
Yeah, and if we're to break it down so far, we have 2 classic monsters showing up. We have the Weeping Angels, which I'm assuming we're going to know why they're there because of episode 4. And we have the Sontarans, and we know why they're there, and actually why they're coming into it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense from what we know of the Sontarans.
As for the Ood, the Cybermen, and stuff, fuck knows. But so far, it seems to be 1 hit and 1 up in the air. So it isn't stuffed in.
Yeah, we'll see as this season goes on. Yeah, I think it's more stuff in terms of something like Revolution, where it's just, oh, there's a Weeping Angel here, or there's silence here in this prison. Surely makes sense, yes.
Yeah, that's definitely stuffed.
It wasn't all that bad, but I
okay, can we just skip to it?
agree with it, and so did a lot of others.
Jesus Christ, how slow do you read?
Weird expressions on her face. I've tried, hope to pick up in episode 2. To be fair, there were only 40 audience reviews, but I'm guessing the number isn't going to go up as the audience review numbers go.
So I'm just going to pause this, and I'm going to change to my other tab and be like, oh, you were wrong. Nerdrotic being wrong about his assumptions because they're all completely baseless? No, that would never happen. Literally tripled the user reviews, and it's gone up by 7 percentage points. Which, to be honest, isn't a lot. It actually means that more people are still disliking the show. Because, like, most of them are still rotten. But the idea is you're still wrong, Gary. Because the audience rating did go up. So fuck you with your fucking assumptions.
Wait, there's been apparently a new BBC trailer for Doctor Who.
Okay.
So we might have to watch that on stream.
I'd rather we didn't in case of copyright.
Who gives a fuck?
I do.
I do. We get paid by this. I don't want us to get demonetized because of that.
I mean, we're not gonna get demonetized. And either they block the video or they monetize our stream. So
you get what I mean. If we get a strike or something, then
blocking our stream is definitely not what we want. So
yeah.
One thing that won't be going up is the ratings for the rest of Doctor Who Series 13. But I did want to point out one thing. You just heard some thoughtful and sometimes passionate reviews. Does that sound like a bunch of alt-right istophobes to you, or does it sound like Doctor Who fans? And
I mean, but you can still be a right-wing moron and a Doctor Who fan, can't you? Those aren't mutually exclusive. I mean, they should be, because Doctor Who is really just not all that right-wing, but, you get what I mean. Like, you can still be right-wing and enjoy the show. So they're not like dichotomous.
After watching the show that they helped build to what it is for decades, being completely deconstructed and destroyed by ideologues, you can't blame them for being upset. And then
Yeah, same way how Series 7 really destroyed a lot of the show, but still it picked up from that and people continued to watch it. And then, what, 3 or 4 series after, in Series 11, it was The Woman Who Felt Worth was like one of the most watched episodes in the entirety of the show. I don't know, dude. I think people come back when they're interested in the show. I think people just watch it. It's all the kind of thing you're like, oh, we're super upset. You're destroying the show I used to love since I was a kid. And I built it to what it is. And now you're just doing this because you want to project your own politics into it. I don't know.
I
Seems super
found
left
a
field.
found a trailer. It's only 15 seconds long, by the way.
15?
Well, 10 seconds long without a Doctor Who Flux thing.
Oh, then it's fine. We can watch it after we're done with this video.
Yeah, I've heard
Can
you.
you find a YouTube link so we can use on Watch Together?
I cannot.
Well, that's cringe. We'll just do a countdown then when we watch it. Whatever. Alright.
add to that the fans being vilified, and that explains why the ratings won't go up. And
When are the
They
fans
have not-
vilified? Tell me. Why? When? I need a reference. It.
I could say for a fact they haven't been.
Like, what the most I remember is Chibnall saying like, oh, I don't look at reviews or something like that for his series. And says it's not a democracy, but that's not vilifying the critics. It's just saying, which is an attitude that I don't think he should hold, but you know he does, which is like, yeah, I don't care about what the general audience thinks in terms of criticisms.
Russell T Davies has a monumental and almost impossible task on his hands. Hypothetically, if Russell T Davies was to retcon the Timeless Children,
He's
he
not
wouldn't be
going to.
just retconning a creative decision. He'd be retconning an ideological decision,
What?
one that would be considered heresy to the cult. But if they do turn
What the fuck are you talking about?
I know, he pretends it's like there's this cult for the timeless children stuff because he assumes that it was just so that we can have Asian doctors.
Oh yeah,
black
because it's
doctors.
like the first, like one of the first incarnations of the Doctor is just this like child, like girl, right? So it's like, oh, you know, woman
It
before
must-
a man. It's SJW. It's completely ideological. Okay, I really hope Tania Miller gets cast as the Doctor. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I hope so, and then
Yeah.
I'll add
Please.
that erotic on Twitter and be like, get triggered, Snowflake, get triggered.
Either her or Rahul Kohli. Those are the two.
Yeah.
Well, the two choices that will also trigger the fandom mass.
Well, I want
That'd be
Tania Miller especially because, well, other than her being a fucking amazing actress, who I'd love to see her play the Doctor. She's a lesbian and black and a woman. It's like, it's the trifecta. The fundamentals would just not be able to deal with it.
Exactly.
around, I will be very happy to admit there's a lot to talk about.
Fuck, it skipped. Hold on.
Be very happy to admit I am wrong. Yes, talk
Sure you
about
will.
in this episode that very few people watched. Rose was mentioned, the Sontarans returned, the Weeping Angels returned, and they introduced 10,000 characters. Unfortunately, every bit of those were more interesting than the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call
I mean, I agree. She was the least interesting character out of all of them. Even Yaz had actually better character moments in this episode, which means she actually had character moments in this episode, which is pretty interesting. And the Doctor was really out of character, and then was assassinated later on because, you know, she just decided to put Earth at risk because she's moronic. So
Yeah, Chibnall can't write 13th. It's weird.
Dr. Karen. And until that problem is fixed,
Dr. Karen.
friend Yellow
okay.
Flash has pointed out in the past that the attitude
Don't use Yellow Flash. You
Yeah, I'm sorry.
dumb
Yellow Flash
cunt.
is a fucking retard. Well, I'm pretty sure I retweeted Yellow Flash recently about something dumb he did. I'm gonna try to find what it was. But yeah, he's fucking retarded.
It's like he even admitted he hasn't really watched the show, and you're gonna go, I'm gonna use Yellow Flash, the guy I dick suck every day.
Oh yeah, Yellow Flash hasn't watched the Doctor Who. All he knows is what he watches from the Phantom Menace videos. So you know,
Which totally isn't biased whatsoever.
no, definitely.
Yeah, no. Tin, shut the fuck up, you fucking fag.
Imagine criticizing Yellow Flash. What a Cringe Galoid.
Your mum's fat.
No, she isn't.
She will be once I'm finding her.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Be scared, Ten.
Yes.
Attitude of the general beloved franchise nowadays. Are you good enough to be our fans?
Oh,
when
I
the truth of
found.
the matter is, they don't deserve you. If you like what
Don't
Um,
deserve you. Okay.
Okay. I don't think they really want a pathological lie that misrepresents their show, no, Ronick. I think they'll pass.
But yeah, this was the tweet. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Do you see the double standard? Do you see how Star-Lord has an ass, whereas Gamora doesn't have an ass? Do you see how that's terrible?
Oh no. It's the end times.
Oh.
It's
I
A
don't-
man has an ass and a woman has a flat one.
That has never
Oh,
happened
no.
ever. Oh, what? What? Everyone's sharing that picture of Tom Holland having a bigger ass than Brie Larson. Oh, but that's funny because haha, Brie Larson's flat. But we can't have that in video games. No, women have to be fucking curvy because I like looking at hot women, which I do to be fair. But you know, that's not the point. It's like I don't know. It's so cringe, dude. Like not everything needs to be sexualized. Like it's the kind of thing you have to be looking for. Ah, so fucking cringe.
please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I will see you in the next video.
Okay. Well,
I
there's
can
a-
tell you, Nadronic, I despise what I listen to because you're a disingenuous faggot and you're a waste of space.
How dare you say that? He is saving
Wow.
us from Hollywood. Or at least that's what the Phantom Menace claims it's doing. I don't know. It's a weird clan of people. But you know. But yeah, that's it, I think. We spent way too long on that video. We spent like 2 hours on this 10-minute video. But, you know, we had a lot to say about it. Jeb was really prepared for it, you know. Marcus is straight
Yes.
by confirmed. I mean, I am straight. But yeah, I hate how Nerdrotic keeps propagating these kind of narratives about everything he watches, whether he likes it or not. Like it always fits a narrative. Like he's saying like, oh, the ideologues are scared about Joker because it's, you know, showing how, you know, film about a white man and shit like that. And it's not really. I think Joker is really left leaning film. But whatever. It's just always trying to propagate this kind of narrative and poisoning the well and shit like that, which is really cringe.
He's live right now. On Friday Night Tights, saying the Eternals is an absolute disaster.
Of course,
Oh, that seems about right.
of course he is. That'll be interesting to hear. I hope he makes a video on it. Hold on. Now, everyone go to Jeb's link there, please, so we can watch this trailer.
10-second trailer.
Yes, I am excited. I'm going to. Can I put the cover on? Wait, that's not the cover I want to put. Copyright cover. I don't think I need to. I don't think we're gonna have a copyright strike for a 10-second trailer. Strike sent the donation link and said my narratives that you should all donate to ECUM. You know, that is a narrative I can get behind.
Same here.
All right, does everyone have the tweet open, the trailer open?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna count down then. 3, 2, 1, play.
On my command.
That doesn't look great. That was
What
bad
do you
acting.
want?
To reign in hell.
Doctor Who.
That was a top tier
Reigns
trailer.
on my
Hell.
player.
Okay.
That was
Um,
bad acting and bad fucking, what you call it, effects, and that is all I can say about it because there doesn't say much.
So, I agree with Fairies that the opening shot looks like Gallifrey being built, like the Citadel,
Mm-hmm.
and Vinter seems to be a division operative given the uniform.
Right.
The purple thing that she's going through seems to be the portal that she was born, that she came through.
Right.
Seems to have a thing, so that might be how she gets out to Gallifrey. But other than that, no fucking clue. It
Yeah.
doesn't show off much.
Yeah. It's just small teaser. Um,
What I don't get as well is, so obviously he's really hyping up the swarm, but the problem is that we have no like understand what the swarm is or why we should be afraid of it, which is why I think it should have been more of a returning villain like a Mega, because that brings that gravitas already there and an established threat. So Swarm's just this random alien now thrown into the mix. So it's harder to develop that.
yeah, I agree. I guess we'll see. I don't know. I'm just the Flux seems pretty I don't know. I'm pretty disinterested in this season. Like first episode just completely lost me. I'm just along for the ride now. I guess just continue watching it, but it's not the kind of thing that super interests me. Even just like watching as like a train wreck that is interesting. And just like yeah, let's just get this over with. But what was I gonna say? Yeah. So is that it? That's it? Is there anything we would like to say right now before we end the stream?
To finish off the stream, your cunts, please die. Thank you.
I concur with Jeb's conclusion. I agree that you should
Yeah.
all do what he says because you
Pretty
know,
accurate.
he's Luigi Sontara follow. So you know, but
Sontar Bat. Sontar Bat.
for
They're
sake.
gonna say Sontahar in the next episode. We're gonna hear that again.
I imagine we're gonna be shouting Sontara for most of the episode just for the meme, but you know.
Sontahar, Sontahar, Sontahar. That's
Yeah.
what makes it cool.
But yeah, I think that's it. Today we did quite a lot. I'm impressed we got through all of it, and we're still, only like 3 hours in. I think we're pretty effective with our time, thankfully. We had no guests today. It was only us four. I don't know. It just seemed like today would be more chill if guys did that. Thanks, Jeb. Especially with Jeb's preparation for the Batman trailer and the Nerdrotic video we're gonna cover. So But yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. Doctor Who is shit. The Batman trailer is great, and Eternals is actually good. So go watch Eternals in theaters.
Happy birthday.
Say to Disney, yo, we like Eternals. Though I don't think you should give money to Disney, but it's the thought that counts. I don't know. You do you, but Eternals is good, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Muslims.
Muslims, really.
Yeah.